Hey, what's up? Hi, everyone. Welcome. Well, maybe not welcome because we need to talk. Welcome. Oh, shit, hang on. That's always delightful, right? And like someone's doing a live and like their own live is playing in the background. Oh, I have an iPad right there so that I can keep track of the text. We don't actually have to talk about anything. There was no, I tricked you. It was clickbait. All right. What up, Joseph? Where's everybody? Justice. No, Justice, I don't announce the live streams through Patreon just because, like, I don't know. I personally do not like getting emails. Like, unless the email is like incredible, wonderful news or something. Like, I really don't like getting emails personally. And so, like, I don't know. I hesitate to, like, do, yeah, I don't like sending out notifications through Patreon. I might have, I did neglect this week to let everybody know on the Discord. But anyway. But yeah, Justice, how you doing? RoboSonic876, what up? Hello, Spooky Ghost, whose profile picture is Peter Griffin and Kirby, Nintendo's original character Kirby, as a single entity. It's horrifying. Asta, what up, Asta? Jan, Maggie, John, Alan, Ethan, Suki. I'm destroying that name. I have no idea what that actually is. Preselec Brown, who has sent one message and it is been retracted. Brown said, "Come out, Bliss." No, I've checked. It's just not true. Which is a bummer, honestly. It's my loss, to be honest. Jep. Joshua, Spencer, Jalen. What up, Sam Norris? What up, Zuko? Voyia? Zuko Voyia? Woo! Genjo, Jalen, Kellen, someone whose username is just socially awkward, just the phrase socially awkward. Hello, John Skipper, Egon. Oh my gosh, are you related to Egon Schiele? My favorite painter of all time. Hey, guess what? This live stream is not brought to you by Bang Energy. Yeah, Andrew, you are correct. Clickbait, yeah. The title of the video is, I don't know if you're asking or if you're wondering what I meant when I said clickbait. I don't know. But the title of this live stream is Fashion Friends Need to Talk, and there's actually not anything for us to talk about. Discord squad, what up, Elijah? Hello, Callum. Welcome, Callum. Callum's wardrobe is godly. It is insane. Callum has put all the power-ups in his own wardrobe. It is ferocious. And intimidating, too. Very intimidating. Sonal, DJ Slick Shola. Sean Henry Fitzsimmons. Thank you, John. I like the beard for now. I don't know what will become of the beard, but I don't know. I kind of like it. I need to take, so I'm doing like a shoot for a new profile picture soon, because my profile picture makes me look like it doesn't look like an anime villain. It looks like a real life person who thinks that they can take a cool epic picture that makes them look like they think they look like an anime villain is what my profile picture currently looks like. So I'm doing like a proper one soon. It's kind of long overdue at this point. Jeez. Okay, so I bought these undershirts that are just like tank tops, and now I'm a Hood by Air editorial. Look. I love these tank tops for the most part because like the biggest thing that I needed them for is the fact that like if I truly wear tops with like nothing under them, my back sweats like crazy and it's just gross. And I know that eventually I'm gonna like make some of my favorite articles of clothing disgusting like that. And so I bought them for that purpose. And I bought like super like LA like dickhead muscle guy tank tops that are like the purpose of them is to like show off your bulging muscles. And but I bought them like that because I wanted them to be, I was like, I need these to be like as low cut as is humanly possible because I do not ever want them poking out. And like here they are still like totally visible, which is a fucking bummer. You can still see it, which is a shame. I was like, oh yeah, I got my notebook out so I could write this down and not forget to do it. We have one question from one of our $9 patrons that we need to cover. And we'll cover that when we get a little bit farther in. But I just didn't want to forget about it. Also, hey, if you're a $9 or a $30 patron, like, please, there's a whole channel on the Discord that is meant to be for like questions that we like automatically do cover. You guys get questions that are for sure going to be answered. So like, fucking please, like do it. Hey, thanks. You guys really like this shirt. That's cool. I appreciate it. Thanks, Daniela. Dang, everybody likes this shirt. Guys, I'm not really fashion king. Come on. Like, we all know that the actual fashion king, the true rightful heir to the throne of fashion is the that guy who took that picture near his parents' house in the suburbs. Mike had to do it to him. That guy really, if there is to be an objective best fit of all time, it's the had to do it to him guy. Dang, we have a ton of people in here today. This is great. 157, sick. Okay, cool. So, what up, everybody? Before we get like fully cracking, we're like rolling in and we're like doing like pretty good on the goals. We're a little bit under for goals for this month on the Patreon. And so hopefully we get to like make up for that here today. Patreon.com/BlissFoster. The goal is to get 11 new members. 11 new members or upgrades to current pledges. And so like if you're a $3 pledge and you want to bump up to 9, that also of course would count. So yeah, cool. Don't you guys just like love how like this plant is just like a total prop at this point? Like there's no conceivable way that I am keeping this in this house behind a huge chair in a room where there's no direct sunlight on it. Like that's impossible. There's no way I keep it right here. But it's just kind of like, I don't care. I'm gonna move it right there. Doesn't look natural at all, but that's where I'm gonna move it to and you have to deal with it. So tough shit, deal with it, fuck you. Okay. Oh, Callum, I have great news for you. Callum just said there is no tier for us to upgrade past $30. And then like the little emoji where it's like a puppy that's about to cry. Not a puppy, but like, you know, the thing with like the eyes that are like, please, ma'am. Callum, I have such great news for you. You can customize your pledge and give $50 a month. Right now, actually, okay, so the highest giving person on Patreon that I have is someone who I've tried to figure out like what their IG is and they won't tell me. I was like, hey, so like, obviously like I want to keep up with you and stuff, and like I'm not trying to like embarrass you or shout you out or anything, but like have we already talked on Instagram? Like do we already know each other or whatever? Because your username here is very generic. It was just like Drew or something, like something that I suspect is not their actual name. And they said like, oh yeah, we're already talking on Instagram. And I was like, cool, what's your handle? And they were like, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, so again, like not trying to like shout you out or embarrass you or anything, but like I kind of would like to know who you are. And he was like, I would like you to not know who I am. And I was like, okay, cool. They weren't like being rude about it. They were just kind of like being like, I'd rather not, thank you. And that person is giving me $40 a month. So yeah, the highest grade donor on the Patreon is giving me like $500 a year, and I have no idea who they are. I even tried like searching their username on Google to like reverse engineer, figure out who they are, and I didn't really find anything helpful with that. Other than maybe the fact that they went to New York one time. There was like a review at a New York business thing that did not seem to imply that they lived there or anything, just that they went there one time. So, all right, let's get into some like questions. Oh, Spooky Ghost makes a great point. Do a video on how bad it is that people learn about fashion from YouTubers with no credentials. That's so true. I have no credentials and I'm not peer reviewed. That is pretty bad. You should seek out peer reviewed information. Yep. All right. Oh, Joseph, you followed me on Instagram and it made my life. Thank you. Yeah, someone said the secret donor is Martin Marcella. That would be so fucking sick. In which case he would have lied to me. We're not already talking Martin Marcella. I want to be talking. Can you imagine how crazy that would be? That would be like one thing, like the concept of like speaking to Martin Marcella would be so insane. Cause it's like, I don't know. I don't have any preconceptions about what he's like when he speaks. I honestly don't even know. Like I've seen In His Own Words and stuff, but like even that movie, it doesn't even give you much of an indication of, because it's not a conversation that they're having. They were having a conversation, but it's edited to just be only Martin talking. And so like you don't even really understand like how good is Martin's English. Like he can navigate around in English and express himself fairly well. But as far as like conversation goes, like can I be talking to him at the same speed that I'm talking right now, or does it have to be a thing with like a lot of like people where it's like English is my second or third language, where you just kind of have to just like cut the speed in half and like slow down really heavy so that they can actually follow along with what you're saying. Someone said, bro, I hate English. Yeah. Oh, what's up, Sultan? Sultan's in here almost every single week. Yeah, English is, hey, first one, what up? Oh my gosh, I didn't see the name. Hang on one second, guys. Joseph Nguyen, Joseph Nguyen and Wilbur Smith, welcome. Welcome to the greatest fashion community on earth. I so appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Dr. Nguyen, Dr. Smith, welcome in. Y'all are G's. Dr. Nguyen, I'm sorry I neglected to see your thing 6 minutes ago. But it's pronounced when? Oh yeah, dang. And it's like one of the most like common names in the world too. When. Sorry. Though, I mean, I've already kind of set myself up to be kind of a dumbass of pronunciation, so I apologize. Hopefully that precedent has been set so strong that you were like, he's kind of hopeless with the pronunciation thing, so it's all good. Names are tricky. But yeah, English is stupid hard. I don't even understand how people I don't understand how people learn English if they're learning it as adults. That to me seems like a nearly impossible task because it is such a complex language. It's such a complex language that if you try to explain some of the things about grammar, just of speaking correctly, just of like being like, no, it wouldn't be like there, it would be that, like it. I don't know. I can't think of an example off the top of my head. There is definitely a written thing, but like it's if you try to explain some of those things to like native English speakers, where it's like, I don't speak anything except for English. I've spoken English since I was born. Like, it's still like, they go like, what do you mean? And it's like, you're saying it wrong. It's like, you have to, grammatically, you have to say this because the thing earlier in the sentence was this. And they're like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah. Anybody who struggles with English learning it as like a high schooler or like an adult trying to learn English for the first time, like, be gentle on yourself because this shit is stupid. And you know why it's stupid? Hey, dang, we're off to a great start. Rhinon J. Reyes. Thank you so much. You're in the Patreon now. That's 3. We're gonna do hash marks for this. 3. Trace. Toi. Toi. Un, deux, trois. Yeah, toi. 3. Or 3. Someone asked earlier if I like Fendi, and I did not like Carl era Fendi. That got really goofy. They leaned so hard into the logo, which in my opinion is not even that great looking of a logo. Like there's some brands like Goyard. Whew! Goyard's logo looks great. It's beautiful, and it's kind of hypnotic. It's like vaguely psychedelic. I love Goyard's logo. That stuff is incredible. I don't love Goyard's logo on like wallets. I think that like kind of the nature of that print, that repeat print, kind of needs to be, you need to have a lot of room for it. And so like, this is so tacky. Oh, and before I forget, yeah, somebody was like, what's the bracelet? This is a Margiela Hospital bracelet. This is the MM6 line version. I'm still on the hunt for the mainline version of it. Bam, what up? Nathan Fernandez, welcome, dude. 4. Thank you, Nathan. You also are a G. Welcome to the greatest fashion community on earth. Right? And like, okay, seriously, like I don't feel, like I understand that I own it and I have a financial like incentive to say this is like the greatest thing ever, come and like join it or whatever, but like, can anybody back me up on that this is actually like the Discord is like fucking incredible? What up? Jessica L, hi. Jess, welcome. You're number 5. Thank you so much. So yeah, Margiela, we're gonna get back to Fendi in a second. I just wanna cover this before I forget because it's about Margiela. So in what year? Hang on, let's figure out the season so that I'm not just like talking out of my ass. So we're gonna get the Bible real quick. I was in here filming for the new Margiela episode yesterday. What is it, guys? Is it the black and white show where we see the hospital bracelet for the first time? I think it was black and white. So this one season, Martin has this great idea and he decides to split the fashion press in 2. This is it right here. I'm gonna read you one paragraph real quick because this is like maybe the most badass thing that Martin ever did. What up, Luda? I don't know. Number 6, welcome in. Welcome to the greatest fashion community on earth. Oh my gosh, I just like literally knocked everything over. Okay. Ugh. Okay, one paragraph, here we go. During the chaotic week of the Paris collections, when the press and the buyers traditionally rush from show to show in a single monolithic unit, Martin Margiela broke with tradition, and in so doing, they neatly cleaved the fashion flock in 2. The unpredictable designer consistent only in his unorthodoxy, daringly staged 2 shows in different parts of the city at the exact same time. Sean Henry Fitzsimmons, $9 patron. What up? Dang. Oh my gosh. Sahil Mishra, $30. Blammo. Welcome, guys. We're up to 8. Dang. Y'all are too kind. Thank you. Sahil, Dr. Fitzsimmons, thank you so much. Dang. Crushing it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I get so weird, like during like the really big ones. Yeah, welcome, $30 gang. You get your name in the credits for every episode. This is cool now. Did I miss another one while I was reading? Hang on. Nope, we got them all so far. Cool, welcome. Anyway, so Martin did 2 shows. One was the black show, one was the white show. And they were in different parts of the city. They were at the same time. The clothes were different. Hey, Connor, what's up? Damn, Connor, thank you. Connor just gave $20. Thank you. As like a tip on the chat here, super chat. Thank you. Dang. Connor, you're welcome. Connor, do you have a question? Do you have a question you want to cover? Because I'll write it down. We'll loop back over to it after we finish this and the Fendi thing. Cool. Connor, you're the best. Connor confirmed wavy. Connor is, yeah, definitely confirmed wavy. Okay, cool. Connor, you're a G. Thank you so much, dude. So yeah, during one of those shows, they'd already hosted some shows at like abandoned hospitals and stuff. And I think it was Jenny Mearns. I now have like a little piece of evidence from an article I was reading from the New York Times from back in 1994 that seems to imply that some of the hospital aesthetic stuff was Jenny Mearns' taste and not so much Martin's. It fits within the brand perfectly, but like Jenny was the one that was like, man, these like single use, like tie around your neck and like tie behind your back, like hospital gown things. These are kind of cool. Like she really liked those, which leads me to believe that maybe that all like hospital aesthetic wearable things was maybe Jenny's idea. So anyway, in the black and white show, that was the first show where we saw them use actual hospital tags on just one model. It was just one model that was wearing it, but she just wore a white hospital tag as like one of her accessories, which is very, very in keeping with like the rest of, very in keeping with kind of the aesthetic of the rest of the house. Then later on, after Martin left, as like a tribute during the Matthew Blasey era, they started releasing hospital bracelets. And really the really, really cool hospital bracelets are the mainline ones. I forget which line they're from, but this is MM6, which is Margiela's diffusion line, which is a casual wardrobe for women and girls. MM6 is fucking boss. And if, like, regardless of your gender, if you find some MM6 stuff that fits you, you should strongly consider getting it, because that stuff can get crazy cheap. And they just do a phenomenal job. They sometimes do, now like in 2020, they sometimes do better with the releases through MM6 than they do through mainline Margiela. Like, it's great. It's really, really, really great. It's so good. Oh, what MM6 do you have? Somebody said like, yeah, I got the sickest MM6. And their stores are incredible too. Like, the MM6 stores are gorgeous. The one in New York is so cool. The last time I went in there, they had like a full capsule wardrobe of classic Margiela pieces that had been done in like a puffer, like a white, it was like puffer coat material almost. Hey! Jep Malbach? Jep? Is it Jep? Jep, you're number 9. Thank you so much, Jep. Part of the team. In the tree, part of the tree. In the tree, part of the tree. One of us, Jep. One of us. I hope I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. MM6 the last thing that lives up to Margiela's work within the brand, in my opinion. I don't know, Julian. Okay, Julian said like MM6 is one of the last things that lives up to Margiela's work within the brand. I don't know. I think that some of the like the one-line stuff, I think a lot of that stuff is still really good looking. Because like, I mean, so I tweeted about this earlier this week, but like something that I think about a lot is this. I need to find the actual article where this was said. I need to sit down and actually devote 2 hours to going back through all of my research and figure out who said this, because this is one of my favorite thoughts about Margiela that I've ever heard in my whole life. And that is that I think it might have been an interview with the creative director at Anda Mulemeister who just retired. Because I think he used to work at Margiela when Martin was still there. I think. I'm not sure. Anyway, so one of the best quotes that I ever heard about Martin Margiela was someone who said of him that the real like core of him as an artist was that he set up instructions or rubrics or ways of working, and then he allowed for his team to execute. And so Martin wasn't the one most of the time that was actually like doing the final thing or whatever. I mean, this is very common with a ton of creative directors where it's just kind of like, yeah, I maybe don't even know how to sew or whatever, but like, yeah, I know how to lead a team basically. But that Martin was especially good at this idea of like being like, we're going to get this dye process and we're going to use this washing process and we're going to buy this like collection of costumes from a playhouse in Paris that just went bankrupt, and then we only have one shot at it because we only have one set of these clothes and we're not going to remake them or anything, and we're going to like do this process to the clothes, and then when we're finished, that's the collection. And like that he was just particularly brilliant at like setting up a system and letting other people work in it, and that the results of that are the art. So in that way, I think that his spirit can kind of live on a little bit more in the house than it has previously. It's not living on in that way in the artisanal, in the Line Zero stuff, because John's doing a great job. I actually really like what John's doing, but I don't know, it seems different somehow. The stuff that's meant to be like, this is a continuation of Martin's legacy, which is what I think of the one line as now. I still think that stuff is incredible. Like I every time I'm at Dover Street, or like every time like I'm at, Barney's, used to be Barney's, I always go and like look at the Margiela stuff in detail, and it's great, y'all. Like it's more finished than it used to be. I mean, the old stuff really was not. It's great stuff. It's beautiful work. Absolutely wonderful. Some of the stuff is meant to last, like the jackets are really meant to last and stuff. But a lot of the like purely conceptual stuff, especially from the first 5 years that the brand was alive, it looks unfinished. Like it looks, and a lot of that's purposeful. But like, so all the stuff now looks like finished, completed product. But it's still, I don't know, I still think it looks great. Anyway, I don't want to just sit here and talk about Martin for forever. There's going to end up being like 30 hours worth of me talking about Margiela on the internet after a while. Oh, dang, I'm jealous. Somebody said much love from Berlin. I love Berlin so much. I really wish that while I was in Berlin that I liked techno at all, because holy shit, y'all have, I hear y'all have pretty good techno over there in Berlin. Is that true? Do you know anybody who likes techno music in Berlin? Oh my gosh. Fucking love techno music. I want to, is it like super lame that I want to go to Berghain so bad? Berghain? Is that like lame of me? Is that like a like, oh look, like white American guy wants to go to Berghain. How original. Hey, so the shirt is, this is a Xenia shirt. So I wore this during the Hussein Chalayan episode. The Hussein Chalayan episode. So the way this shirt works, we're still coming back to Fendi. I promise we are. So the way this shirt works is that there's a collar on it, right? It's a regular shirt. It's just gargantuan. It's a very, very oversized shirt, right? Huge, huge shirt. Meant for a very fat man. And it's made of this like really nice, like very soft stuff. I want to say there's like tinsel involved in this, but I don't know. Hang on. What's this made of? What's this bitch made of? Dry clean only. Do not bleach. Cool iron. Q10 max. The fuck is this made of? Okay, it literally doesn't want to say what it's made of. It feels like cotton and like tinsel, maybe? Okay, but anyway, what I do with this, because it is so huge and it looks a little bit shapeless and purposeless if I just like wear it like this. So what I do is I take the collar behind my neck and I button that. Boop. Hey! Whoa! Who gave $33? What? Dang, Spencer, thank you. Holy shit, dude. Wow. Y'all coming out with the tips today. Thank you. Damn. Spencer, you are so welcome. Man, both y'all are so welcome. Dang, Connor and Spencer. Geez, for life. Emily Guillard. Thank you so much, Emily. Emily, you're number 10. Thank you so much. Y'all are being incredibly kind today. Thank you so much. That means a ton. Man, every time I get really serious with thank yous, I always get super weird and I like don't know what to say. And so, yeah. That one day, I haven't gone back and looked at it because I feel like I'm gonna like be like really cringed out by my reaction. But like the day where like 10 people upgraded from like $3 to $30 a month, and they kept that, by the way. None of those people have dropped off. Like nobody was like BSing at all. Like everybody that was on there has like stayed on there. It's insane. I'm just like so appreciative. But like the day that that happened, I feel like I was probably acting like a total like doofus because I was like, I need to express like real gratitude here and like very serious, like I need to make it very clear that like I understand that this is a big deal and stuff. And I always end up like being like, anyway, yeah, $30 gang. You guys are awesome. That was a good stream. We got to see Bliss like really not know how to act. Should I buy a vintage 90s reversible Fendi jacket or is that played? Here's the deal. Fendi, Gucci, Louis. Hey, Christian Robledo. Thank you, Christian Robledo. All right, that is 11 patrons. That is incredible. Thank you so much. We met the goal. That's like record time that we met the goal there. So what we can do now, because I mean we're doing a minimum of 2 hours here, so we're only like a fourth of the way done. If you guys want to try to break the record, I think what's the record? It's like I think 16 patrons is the record right now. So if we want to try to break the record, we certainly can. Yeah, do it, man. Mick, join right now. Go for it. A lot of those, like Gucci, Louis, and Fendi. I love that song, by the way. Creation is my girl. Most of those clothes that are from the 90s are fakes. They're not real. So like if you're on Grail, then it's just kind of like vintage 90s Fendi jacket thing. It's probably not a real Fendi jacket. Like you would need an overwhelming amount of evidence. What up, Mikolaj? Thank you, Mikolaj. You're incredible. Gabriel, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Gabriel just gave $5. Keeping everyone informed, focused. Much love. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is literally my pleasure. And also, I don't think I could stop this if I had to. Like, if what I did was made illegal, I don't know if I could stop doing it. I fucking love doing this. Hey, David. David just joined the Patreon. Thank you so much, David. But yeah, those Fendi things and stuff, those are... I would be extremely suspicious that it is fake. Because everybody is looking to rep these impossibly expensive brands. Gucci, Louis, and Fendi, like, are... Holy shit. Richard Leba just gave $30 as a tip. Thank you, Richard. Dang, you're so welcome, Richard. Thank you. Y'all are being so good to me. Thank you. Because yeah, like I mean, like I showed my little brother some Gucci stuff. He's Isaac's cool. He dresses really well. He's not like fashion head person. But he was like, oh man, I really like how Harry Styles dresses, and I was like, Harry is like a rep for Gucci, so like it's all everything you see him in is all Gucci. And he was like, oh, well wait, maybe I should look at Gucci stuff. I always thought Gucci was like supposed to be like kind of stupid or something. I was like, no, Gucci's like hard as fuck. And we pulled up some Gucci stuff, and he was like, wow, I do not like some of this, but I really like some of this. And he was like, wait, so like what's something that's like somewhat relatively affordable by Gucci that I can buy? And I was like, nothing. There's nothing that is even remotely within your or my price range. Nothing. And what up, Steven Sakir? Thank you so much. Raf Simons archive read thoughts. Okay, we'll get to that. And I was like, nothing. And there's a ton of people out there who are like determined. It's like, oh my gosh, if I do not get some Gucci on my body, I'm going to become physically ill. And those people are, yeah, usually they end up saying like, okay, we're going to get on AliExpress and we're going to find this fake Gucci pair of pants that says Gucci really big all over it, and we're going to wear that, and we're going to feel bad about ourselves and not be able to sleep as well at night and wonder why. And that's it, because they're fakes. Yeah, what would a vintage Fendi jacket actually cost? Like if it was in like pretty good condition, actual vintage Fendi jacket, it's got to be so expensive. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars, maybe $1,000. I don't know. What up? Oh, Bloody. Oh my gosh. Did Bloody Osiris join my Patreon? It's Bloody spelled with a 6 instead of a B. Holy shit. It's Bloody Osiris. That's 14. Thank you, Bloody. I like Bloody Osiris. He seems like maybe not a super sweet person in real life, but the way he dresses is just like, mwah. I love Bloody's fits. Bloody's fits are incredible. Let's talk about Raf Simons Redux. Hang on. Okay, so Raf, Dad, is, for anybody that doesn't know, Raf will be re-releasing certain pieces from older collections, and yeah, telephone on a burner phone. Ooh, wait, that is an incredible idea, Erica. Oh my gosh, a good incentive for Patreon supporters. Yo, LP Landis just edited up from $3 to $9. Thank you so much. That's 15. Excellent work. LP Landis, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. Erica, that is an incredible idea. We are doing that. That is absolutely insane. I'm writing that down. That is such a good idea. Hey, anybody who's in the Patreon, can you just shoot me a DM? Just because it's like if I make a note right here, this whole notebook, I'm not going to be back on this page again. Can anybody who's on the Patreon, on the Discord, just shoot me a DM that says that we need to do like a live like call-in thing on the on live streams. That's sick. That's such a good idea. Holy shit. Mark said I was going to up my pledge this week, but you got me with those tabbies on Friday night. Yeah, somebody sent me those over direct message on Instagram, and I was like, I'm not in a position to spend $500 on anything right now. And, hey, $4 patron, Mike Ort. Thank you, Mike, and thank you for editing that pledge up a little bit. I appreciate you, my man. Yeah, one thing I did consider doing was getting on a VC call, and then KP Landis just edited it back to $3 from $9. Thanks for the 90 seconds of increased pledge. Are we aware that you weren't charged for that? Like, okay, whatever. I'm notified of all of them, guys. They all come through in an email that pops down from the top of the screen. We can't just like edit things up to $9 so that we can get a shout out and then like edit them back to $3. It's kind of weird. Okay, so it's like edit it up to like $90 and then like edit back to $2. Like, so Dad is re-releasing some of his like most well-known design. Actually, I don't know. Okay, does anyone know? Because I haven't read the press release. Does anyone know what the actual like things that they're re-releasing are? Because I still have not read the article on it. Okay, yeah, I saw the collapse. That's in like the main picture. I can't look at pictures right now, guys. I'm doing a live stream. It's in the Discord. I don't have time to open the Discord. I would literally have to close everyone down right now if I'd open the Discord. Anyway, hey, what up? Oh, okay. So guy that edited his pledge back down to $3. Okay, was just trying to donate $10 just off rip. Okay, not as part of like the recurring payment on Patreon. Okay, Kellen, that's all good. And honestly, that was kind of mean of me, to be honest. I honestly like shouldn't have like called that out. I was trying to, wasn't even conscious. Well, anyway, that's what I did. So I'm sorry. That was mean of me anyway. But yeah, you're all good. Thanks for the $10, dude. I appreciate you. Yeah, so they're re-releasing stuff. And apparently, okay, this is what's weird. Here's a weird thing about social media, is that like, all I've seen reaction-wise to that so far, I had a bunch of people send me the article with no context. People do this to me all the time. They forward articles to me. They forward pieces of information to me. They like send me websites, archive stuff. Like I get sent tons and tons and tons of stuff through IG, which I'm so thankful for. Instagram messages are basically like how I get my news for everything now. That and the Discord like are like all I need. I don't ever have to go to websites anymore. It's insane. It's so nice. If you ever want to stay up on everything that's ever happening in fashion, start a fashion YouTube channel that is moderately successful with a niche audience. So a bunch of people have sent those to me. But I've seen now multiple memes from huge meme accounts, which is Karsten in here? Karsten, where, if you're in here, or like if Cum is in here, that's not like the actual name, but I just call him Cum because that's way funnier. Hey, is Seaman in here? Karsten. Anyway, multiple memes about people getting like super angry that stuff is getting re-released from Raf because like that stuff, I don't even think that stuff sold through originally. Like I think like those, like the like really legendary the Kanye like camo jacket with the Christiane F imagery on it that was also used for the Tuesday slide thing. Like I think that went to sale, and like the other stuff from that collection, like a bunch of other designers, like it all went to sale. Like they weren't even able to sell everything through at full price. And now, of course, those things are priceless. What up, Palumi? Thank you. Join the Patreon, brand new patron. What is up? 17. Can we get it to 20? Can we get it to 20? That would be insane. If we got 20 new patrons in one day, that would be fucking wild. Oh yeah, okay, wait, Sultan's got the info. When the Riot Bomber came out, it went on sale in Japan for like $200 US. And that item is like being sought after by museums and stuff now. Oh my gosh. Anyway, a bunch of the memes were saying like, oh, this is like so stupid, like, or that like, I'm sorry, the memes weren't saying that. A bunch of the memes were saying that people were on the internet complaining that they were re-releasing these items because they spent just a shit ton of money buying those items, like $1,400 buying like one of these hoodies and stuff, so that they can be like, yeah, it's one of the like original like Riot pieces. Like, this is so cool. I love Raf so much. He's my dad. And like, and that those people are now pissed because their precious hoodie that they spent $1,400 on might get re-released. But the thing is, I have not seen anyone actually make that complaint. I have only seen memes making fun of those people making that complaint. So, is anyone actually mad about this? Like, you're allowed to be mad, but like, it makes it. Okay. Raf Simons is independent. He has like 2 employees. He regularly talks about, because it's a reality of owning an independent fashion label. Raf, June, like, Rick doesn't talk about this because he is running a extremely successful independent fashion label. But like, anybody who's running a moderately sized fashion label, Craig Green, will tell you that it's like, it's scary. Like, if this next collection doesn't do well, I can't buy fabrics next season. Like, I'm in trouble. If this does not go well, if this does not sell out, if I can't figure out a way to get like a collaboration deal for next season, if I can't figure out a way to like make sure that like we don't accidentally overproduce pieces or whatever, like, I'm fucked. I will not be able to like make stuff next season. Brandon, new $3 patron. Thank you so much, Brandon. You're incredible. Dang, Brandon being a good influence. Look at that. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, I mean, June says this all the time, that it's just like we're kind of teetering on the brink of not having any money. So I want Dad to be able to make as much money as he possibly can off of these designs that literally change the course of fashion history. Like, I mean, in the space of graphic design for clothing, who has been more influential in the last decade than Raf's work in the early 2000s? Nobody. I don't even think it can be argued that somebody was more influential in that. Maybe Virgil, maybe Kanye, but I really don't think so. I think it's got to be Dad. Dirt Rich. Thank you, Dirt Rich. You're a G. Dirt Rich, new patron. That's also hilarious. Dirt Rich. Oh, Philip Plein? Duh. Yeah, you're right. Philip really has been like truly the godfather of contemporary graphics. Hey, BT dubs, like, I try to say this like at least once per stream so that I'm like being like somewhat of a good influence, but I don't know. Vape and smoke if you want. It is a bitch stopping doing this stuff. When you decide that it's like, oh, I'm 30 and my chest kind of hurts sometimes, it's really hard to stop. It's really, really hard to stop. So it's super fun for like the first like 6 years. It's super fun, but then it's just really difficult to stop. So yeah, I want Dad to be able to make money off of this stuff. Hey, Alexander, what up? The notification went away. Dang, Alexander and Vincent? Damn. What up, Vincent? Hell yeah. We're getting everybody in the Patreon now. We're getting everybody in the Discord. Fire for all. Everyone joins the Discord. But yeah, I want Dad to get the stuff that he deserves. Like, I mean, okay, so there was a really excellent interview with Jack White of famed band The White Stripes, where Jack White is someone that I used to see all the time when I lived in Nashville because he's just around, which is pretty cool. But also, Jack White runs Third Man Records, which is, it puts out like his own music and like a couple other artists that are on his label and stuff. Third Man Records are incredibly expensive. The vinyl pressings of Third Man Records are very, very, very expensive. And in an interview one time, they were like, why are your records like 3 or 4 times on average more expensive than other labels' records? What up, Sylvie Saslow? Sylvie Saslow, new patron. Sylvie, you're not gonna regret it. I appreciate the support. And yeah, and he gave a really good answer for that, which is like, we're a really small operation. We make everything in Nashville. Like we're pressing and we're making this stuff in the United States. And he was like, we're not willing to compromise on that stuff. We want to do cool collector's item things for these artists that we really love and for music that we're really passionate about. Lots of record labels do this, where they're putting out like very limited runs of stuff. And he's like, if I'm being really frank with you, it like really gets me heated that like a company will put out a record and be like, we only made 200 of them. They're really limited release, like grab them if you can. they're like what, $30 or something for this like super limited vinyl thing. So the company gets $30, and then 80% of the stock of those records, it's posted up on the internet within an hour for $400. Hey, what up, Nick Radakash? Radakash? Dang, Nick Radakash? That's a sick name. Thank you, Nick. Welcome to the greatest fashion community on earth. And so Jack starts it out at that price. Tyler, what up? New patron. Thank you so much, Tyler. You're incredible. And so all Third Man records just kind of start at that price. They kind of calculate it up. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but I just threw out the number like $30 and $400. I don't know if those are actual numbers, but like, yeah, like, I mean, limited release vinyl is like a huge collector's thing. People drop tons of money on it. And Jack was like, to be totally frank, I should be the one making that money. And so if we price the records initially at a price that is high enough that the margin of profit that you can make off of its limitedness is like pretty slim, no one's gonna bother. No one's gonna bother unless they truly want that record. And he was like, and that's the whole point. I don't want to sell to resellers. I want to sell to people that actually like my music. And so, in a much longer game version of this, that's what Raf has ended up falling into, is that like Raf does sell like coats and stuff for $1,400 now, and he's probably looking at those hoodies that, because he was just starting out with his business, he was like, fuck, I kind of wish that I could get in on some of this like $10,000 for a jacket kind of shit. Like, I made those things. Those things like changed the course of like hoodies and pictures on hoodies and t-shirts history. Like I kind of changed all that stuff, but I changed it when I was like a kid, and couldn't possibly, it would have been insane if I was like saying like, hey, do you guys want to, hey, I'm going to make a ton of these. You guys want to pay me like $800 for these hoodies? I would have sold 0 hoodies. So like, I don't know. I feel like this is sort of like that same mentality that Jack White was talking about, where it's just kind of like, to be totally frank, like I would way rather have that money and be able to put that towards more good work for you people than for, no hate to resellers, but just some dude who flips clothes. Like, that's neat, like get your money and stuff, but like I would way rather that money go to dad. So anyway. Thanks for asking that question. This is not a jewel, this is a biddy stick. This is like one of the like stupid gas station ones while I'm waiting for my actual like vape to come in the mail. Is that a bracelet? Yes, we talked about this earlier. This is a Margiela Hospital bracelet. This is one of the only Margiela pieces that I actually like have. It's the only Margiela piece I actually have. I used to have a shirt, but then it was looking like I couldn't pay rent 1 month and had to sell the Margiela button up. Someone said, let's talk Kiko Spring Summer 2021. I'm down for that. Hey, what up? Crocomo, thank you so much. Joining the Patreon. Getting in the game. Get in the game, Crocomo. EA Sports. Crocomo. I don't know. Yeah, selling clothes for rent is a sad situation. That is like... Yeah. What was really cool, Oliver Buckley, what up? Yeah. Bad financial time. Very, very bad financial times a few years ago. And like Lindsay was like insisting that I not sell any of my clothes. She was like, I understand this is more important to you than like, these are not objects. I really wish you would not sell this. And I was like, that's not fair. Like you are selling things that you own that are very precious to you. I'm not going to like let you just sell stuff that's like just yours. I got to get rid of some of these clothes. And so up until the time when I was literally packing it into the box, she was like saying, I really, really wish you would just delete your Grailed account and ditch on this person and return their money via PayPal. Keep your shirt, please. And I was like, that's honestly not fair. We can't do that. But yeah, Lindsay was like being really cool about that. Being very sweet. Hey, somebody said, yeah, Kiko Spring Summer 2021. So I haven't looked at the full show yet. I've seen like pictures from it and stuff. I've been like really locked away. I was trying to pay attention to Fashion Week as it was getting released online. Like, so this is very underwhelming. I really wish, I'm excited for us to get back to real Fashion Week. I understand it is not wise for us to do that right now, and I'm in full support of that. But at the same time, it's just like, this sucks. Like, we're not seeing, I shouldn't say we're not seeing innovation yet, because I really don't know, because I haven't been looking at it truly. But I've been trying to keep as close to tabs as I can, while also like trying to, hey, what up?
Hey.
I'm on live.
Okay.
I've promised my family that like if I am ever like actually like going live to lots of different people, that they at least get a verbal warning. So no one confesses anything that might incriminate them of a crime. I'm excited for us to get back to real Fashion Week. Has anybody, there was some element of Kiko's new show that was secret, right? What was the secret thing? Because like, I learned that it was secret or something from YOLO, the guy that runs High Fashion Talk. He just, tweeted out the whole video and was like, why is this being kept secret? That seems kind of weird. Was there an element of that show that was secret besides the video presentation of it or whatever? And how was it being kept secret? Does anyone have answers to this? You had to have a code and a password just to like view the video of the show? Is that what it was? Okay, wait. You had to have a password and username to view the show on Kiko's site. For exclusivity's sake. Okay. But then Vogue put it up really quickly. Yeah, this seemed, I don't know. Like at that, I made a video a while ago. Didn't even see the Corona, my like one piece of Corona content, where I was like trying, it's the one with like the coronavirus on either side and then the acronym guy in the middle. Like my prediction was that if coronavirus like keeps us from doing Fashion Week, then we're going to start seeing some massive like innovation in the digital space for how like clothing gets presented. And I don't, off rip, I would need to think about it a little bit more, but just off rip, I don't know if the way to do this is with that kind of exclusivity. Now, that said, I have never seen Kiko miss. Kiko's like on the court throwing the ball behind his head and stuff, and just his body seems incapable of missing, like regardless of how he throws the ball. So like all the clothes that I saw, I was like, it's great again. Like how is it this level of good? I mean, like it's him and like Craig Green and Rick and stuff who are like in the menswear space, where it's just kind of like, how are your clothes this wild and every single time they're this good? How is that even possible? How are your clothes this crazy, this different from season to season, and this high a quality? That seems insane. Hamkiss is another one where like every single season it's just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, how did you reinvent pants again and somehow they're incredible again? What? Like it's crazy. I don't understand how those people are able to do it. Junjae is insane. Junjae is great. I need to look at the Junjae show. I was trying to look at that last night, but I was really wiped and I wanted to play Sekiro, so I played Sekiro instead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for having other interests besides clothes. Kiko is still a virgin. If that's what's fueling it, then let's keep him a virgin. Keep Kiko pure. Oh my gosh, Hamkiss is so good. Jeez. Hamkiss is another one where it's kind of like Rick, where really my desire is to, Kiko is pretty good with you can pair that stuff with other things pretty easily. But like, if you have like 18 or 19 pieces from like new Hamkiss stuff, or like 18 or 19 newer Rick pieces, like since he started introducing color with like the Mexican Heritage Collection, that's great. That's actually one of the only things I really liked about Rick's presentation, is that like it's him and Tyrone just like hanging out in the studio together, and Rick being like, put this on, and then like put this on, and wrap this around your waist. That's cute. Okay, put these gloves on. Okay, put these pants over those pants. Wow, this looks so good. Okay, take all that off. Okay, put this on. Like, and just like the ability to like Lego set all of the Rick pieces together is just kind of like, what the fuck? It's like the okay, having like 18 or 19 pieces from the new Rick collections and just like stacking them on top of each other and like wrapping one around your neck as a jacket that's just like hanging off your body and stuff. It's like the ending of Akira when he's like, his body is exploding and like everything's going everywhere and stuff. It's like he's transforming and it's horrifying and beautiful. This is great. Oh my gosh, getting too excited. Hey, Richard, thank you so much. I don't know if my Rick Owens imitation is all that great, actually. Whenever I'm doing an imitation of Rick, I'm always just kind of like, I need to channel being like kind of older and definitely from California, and as gentle as is humanly possible with my voice, but still making very explicit demands of people. Okay, here we go. One of my favorite things from a Rick Owens like article or interview or something is that guy that just followed Rick around for a really long time. It was one of the more recent, maybe GQ or like New York Times or something. It's the one where where Rick talks about like being an alcoholic for the first time explicitly. Oh, thoughts on Geo Martins. I'm gonna write that down. We'll loop back to it. Okay, Geo Martins. Oh, we also need to talk about Heptides' thing. Heptides, are you here right now? Is Heptides in the chat? Do we have Heptides in the cut? Anyway, one of my favorite things about Rick, oh yeah, was when he was doing like a meeting. It was a very business meeting kind of thing, just like getting business side of things done. And the meeting concludes and Rick calls one of the people over and he leaves, the journalist leaves this blank, but I think I know what he was talking about. He leaves the name of the guy out, obviously, because don't want to call out this person who got in trouble at the company over this. But like Rick calls this guy over to him and just kind of like, hey, can we go talk for a second? And he like pulls the guy aside. The journalist is still with him because he's just following Rick everywhere. And he says like, why are we not bigger in, and then the journalist left like name of country here. I'm pretty sure that because of the context that he was talking about China, because I don't think, has anyone defirewalled their way into this stream? Is anyone in China and know if there's a lot of Rick stores in China? Because I think that audience would go crazy for Rick. Like China is like, would be great for Rick, but I don't think they're huge in China. Anyway, I think they were talking about China. I have a link. What do you have a link to? What's going on? Oh, Mr. B, if you feel comfortable, you can post the link here. Yeah, it's Akira. Are you just finding out that Rick is half Mexican? He is definitely half Mexican. And it kind of shows, like he looks, gosh, excuse me. He looks Latinx. Anyway, But this guy like said that he like pulls the guy aside and he like says like, why are we not bigger in China? And he basically like does kind of the thing that if you've worked in anything other than like part-time jobs, like you've had this experience with a boss where they say like, I'm keeping a pretty calm demeanor over here. I'm furious about this thing, this element of your performance. I'm very mad. Keeping things calm over here. But yeah, that he was just kind of like, I think it is crucially important that we take that market as aggressively as is possible. And to be frank, that's your job. So I would really appreciate seeing some results on that in the coming months. See some progress on that. And the journalist like described it as kind of like, I have never heard someone be so gentle in their manner of speaking and the words that they used, but have such a aggressive tone to what was being said. Like he was basically like telling this dude like shape the ship up or like we're firing you. And it was very aggressive. And the guy like thanked him and was just kind of like, you always have good words, Rick. And Rick was like, okay. And just kind of walked off. Anyway, he's not talking about the Rick Owens documentary. He's this is an article. It's not a video. Mr. B, no cap. I think it's the GQ interview with Rick Owens where it's like Rick Owens is still the something. I can't remember. Maybe the GQ one. Again, it's the same one where Rick talks about being an alcoholic. Yeah, and I mean, when he's it's cool. I actually think that as a management style, I've worked like a bunch of different jobs at like a bunch of different kinds of places. And to me, the thing that I've been in positions of like leadership, I've been in positions of like not being in any kind of leadership and stuff. Rick Owens is still out there. Yes, that one. Rick Owens is still out there. That's the article. It's great. Truly the best way of leading, truly, if anybody's in positions of leadership, truly the best way of leading is for you to, guys, I'm not going to do the voice now because I just tried to do it again and I don't feel like it sounded very good. And I've never even thought of my Rick Owens voice as being all that good. Anyway, truly the best position of leadership is people who understand that it's like, I'm the boss. Like, if you're not performing the way that you need to perform for me, I'm going to reset expectations. If you're still not performing, I'm going to sit down with you and be like, this is a written list. These are things I have to have you improve on. We're going in this direction. If you can't come with us on that direction, I don't know if this is going to work out. I really hope you can come with us. If you can't, then we're going to leave you. And to be just very abundantly clear, and then to not get emotionally upset if they are still not doing the stuff. Like all of the issues with like management that I encountered was that I have encountered in my life, the wise 30-year-old that I am. All of the problems come when management starts getting emotionally upset with like the performance of employees. It's like none of this is personal. No one is out here to attack you, dude. Like, or ma'am. More often my superiors have been women, actually. So like, no one is out here trying to like challenge your authority. And certainly, no one's going to get you fired. It's your fucking company. Like, no one is really trying to destroy anything. They're just living their lives and they don't want to do work. Like, none of this is personal. And so like, if it comes down to it, you just say like, I've set a lot of expectations. You haven't met the expectations. I love you a lot. You don't work here anymore. And that's all you have to do. And maybe they'll cry and maybe they'll freak out and maybe they'll accuse you of stuff, but it doesn't matter because you're the boss. So like, just chill the fuck out and just like lead the people, set the expectations and get rid of people that aren't meeting expectations. It's okay. Anyway, so that's management style advice from Bliss. Bliss, what program, this is a great question. What program do you use to edit your videos? So I record my videos on an iPhone XS, and I edit the videos so it's a specialty software called iMovie that is available exclusively for iOS devices. And yeah, got a low budget setup over here. I'm gonna switch at some point. Oh, sorry, it's an iPhone XS. Thank you so much for the correction. That's very, very relevant. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, up until maybe 3 months ago, I was doing iPhone 6S, which was nuts. That was not a great way of doing things. Oh no, I use back camera. I use the full res camera. No, I don't use, someone said to use front or back camera. Oh my gosh. No, absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal, guys. Like, I don't know how to do video editing. I don't know how to use like After Effects and like Final Cut and stuff. Like, I don't know how to use that software. I've used iMovie for other stuff before. So like, especially when the channel was first starting out, I was like, let's just do this the way that we know how. Because I mean, again, a huge philosophy that I have about this project, and something that I'm now just encouraging everybody on earth to do, is that like, I have had countless creative projects throughout the course of my life that I have so badly wanted to make happen, and all of them have fallen through. Every single one. I have never done anything professionally or creatively, independently. No project in my life has lasted half the amount of time. I've worked at places for longer than this, but nothing that like I of my own steam have made happen has lasted half the amount of time that this channel has. And I 100% believe that this is because I took up the philosophy of use what you have right now and start today. Like, everything that was keeping me from doing this stuff was because I was like, well, I need to find somebody who like really knows about video editing and then get them to like have buy-in on the project. And what I need to do is I need to figure out like the basics of graphic design so that I can like have a decent looking logo, and like I can fuck all of that. Really, if you want to do something, start today with the things that you can do it with. I mean, maybe if you want to weld, that's not possible. But like for just about every single project that like most people in 2020 want to get cracking on, it is probably something having to do with music production. Great. There are free music production software things out there that you can download onto your laptop and start using today. Use those things. You don't need Fruity Loops. Like, just get whatever you can afford. Like, if you already have the stuff, literally, and then, I mean it in the most literal way possible, start today. You have to start today. Has anybody, I've recommended this to a whole bunch of you through, we're now attending like an inspirational like public speaking event. So surprise. I've recommended this to a bunch of you over DMs, especially if your goal is to design clothes. But really, if you're ever going to undergo anything creative in your entire life, you need to read the book, The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. You need to read that book. It will probably kick your ass, but it's very short. More importantly, and this is a thing, I recommend audiobooks all the time to people because I myself have a very slow reading speed, and my reading comprehension is like fairly low as far as like test taking for stuff like that is determined. But like, you have to get the audiobook for this book. It's in my opinion, it's not even an option. You do not need to read the physical copy of the book. You need to listen because it's Steven Pressfield himself reading it to you. So unless like your English is on a level where like you're like, I'm really not going to be able to hold it in my head if someone's reading it to me in English, then yeah, maybe buy the physical copy of the book because the words are still incredible. But you need to listen to him reading it to you, because like the idea of the book is that it's like you are robbing yourself, and more importantly, you are robbing everyone else of your work. You are making it where the world does not have access to the work that we deserve to have, and you won't give it to us, and you need to effing stop it right now. Like the whole thing is him like talking about like how he like lost like all of his like money, and he became like an alcoholic, and he like lost his marriage, and he was like 100% of this was because like I was meant to be an author, And I was like piddling around and trying to like work out like, but how do I find inspiration? Oh my gosh, like writing is hard. I'm not sure if I... And really what he needed to do was he needed to make his whole life about writing and start writing the damn books. Like the whole thing is you dealing with the fear of not like, but what if people say that like your video quality isn't very good, and then they ask me like what I'm using to like record the videos because they're like, I want to help you, and then I'm like, oh, I'm making them with my iPhone, and they're like, you stupid bitch, you shouldn't be using iPhones to record videos for YouTube. Like, what if people make fun of me? Like, none of that matters. You need to be working. That is the only thing that matters, especially if your goal is to design clothes. If you are in this live stream and you watch this channel and you follow me on Instagram and stuff because you're like, dang, I really want to learn the nuances of how like Rick and Raf and all of them execute this stuff because this is what I want to do with my life. Listen to me. You need to be designing clothes today. Today you need to be designing clothes. You don't need to be sketching clothes anymore. You need to be buying muslin, and you need to get on your sewing machine, and you need to find some patterns to modify and start making clothes. You need to stop worrying about all of the things that you're going to potentially be doing wrong with it, because guess what? Your whole life is going to be full of you doing things that are not fully correct and that are full of mistakes and stuff. Get used to it. It's painful and it's difficult, but it needs to happen. You need to be making clothes today. Okay. Cool. Has anybody read this book, The War of Art? It's super good. The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Obviously, we are not talking about the book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu, the ancient text about strategic sport of warfare. This is Steven Pressfield's The War of Art. It came out in the 80s. Yeah, you need the audiobook too. Steven is gonna kick your ass. If you think I was being kind of aggressive there, Steven is going. The second book, the first book that he came out with, he was a screenplay writer for a really long time. And then he wrote his first nonfiction book, which is The War of Art. And that book ended up being, no, he wrote The Legend of Bagger Vance, which is, I mean, unless you really kept up with like New York Times recommended fiction from the 80s, like I don't think anybody here would have heard of The Legend of Bagger Vance, but like in the like contemporary novel world, that like book did fairly well. Hey, what up? Ashley, welcome to the Patreon. Nice. We've had a little bit of a lull in the Patreon support. I appreciate you, Ashley. You're a G. Anyway, he wrote a couple of fiction books that were pretty successful. The first like blockbuster, like huge legendary book that Steven Pressfield wrote was The War of Art. So that was like a big turn for him because now all he does is he writes nonfiction. To give you a clue of how aggressively he's going to treat you, this is very tough love. He wants you to do well and he wants you to do good and he loves you a whole lot. But like to give you an idea of the level of aggression that he writes and is going to treat you with, his second book, the title of his second book is No One Wants to Read Your Shit. So yeah, with that in mind, you need to go read The War of Art. I think No One Wants to Read Your Shit is more like focused specifically on authors. I don't know if that book is so much of like a general reader, but this one is for like, if you want to be like, really it's built so that every human being can appreciate it in some capacity. If you're a biologist, or like, I mean, one of the first examples he used is like, if you were born and you feel that your calling in life is to be a mother, you need to get to business right now. Like, so I think it truly is it's not just for creative stuff, but especially for like designers, because I mean, and designers are set apart in so many ways. This is such a weird medium of art. Fashion design is such a weird, profoundly different medium of art than all other mediums of art. It is of paramount importance that you start figuring this stuff out as early as you possibly can, like today, because there are so many different elements of this that you need to learn. If you are learning to paint, like painting is fine. Like you can, I mean, there are people, this is very common, people who start painting when they're in their like 60s or something, like they're retired and then they want to start painting. George Bush did that, apparently. Fuck that guy. But like, yeah. Painting is something where it's just kind of like, no, like it could take a lifetime to like master this thing, just like all creative things, but like, yeah, we can get you caught up on painting here like pretty quickly. There is like a decade and a half's worth of very difficult, like steep uphill learning curve stuff that you need to learn about fashion design, because it doesn't have to do just with like, I can sketch clothes that look really cool, or I can make digital renderings of clothes that look really cool. Great. So now you are 2% of the skill sets that are necessary to like start an independent brand. Like, you need to learn about tech packs. You need to learn about textile design. You need to learn about how textiles age and like how like different stitch types age. And you need to learn about draping. You need to learn about grading, and you need to learn, does anyone even know what grading is? Like, yeah, there's a lot of things that you have to like dump an enormous amount of time into and to understand in order to, oh no, that's just an email from Oil Perfumery, because I ordered an imitation of a Creed fragrance one time, and guess what? Didn't smell very good. And now they won't stop emailing me. Yeah, George Bush actually is pretty good at painting, but it's because, you know, he's got to be good at something, right? Okay. I've never seen Zoe Hong's fashion videos. Should I? How long did you think about making the channel before actually doing it? A day. Like, I made a thank you video for my parents. So if anybody has seen way back, the very first video that I ever put out is about those engineered garments pants from Nepenthes. I post them fairly frequently, like on my Instagram, but it's the ones that are made of like boucle, and they're bright, like this bright royal blue, but they look like they're like made of like raw wool or something. They're very fuzzy, very fuzzy. So anyway, I made a video because I bought those pants using Christmas money from my parents, and I was like, okay, so I can try to explain to mom and dad next time I'm at home, like why these pants are so important to me and why I love them so much and stuff, or I can make a thank you video for them, and in like 3 minutes, I can explain like why these are so cool. And I was like super drunk when I made this. Like, I don't remember recording this. And I just made this video, and it was like kind of quirky and funny and cool. And I was like, oh, I should post this to High Fashion Talk. This will be cool. And I did, and one of the mods was like, hey, I can approve this post, but like, this is really actually funny. Do you want to like remake this so that you can like post it to YouTube, and then we can like get you some real like karma for it? Because it's a little weird that it's like, this was a thank you video for my parents, because like you're like saying like, thanks mom and dad, I love you so much. Like at the end he was like, you want to just like remake it using like the same jokes and stuff, but then like it can be like a real thing. And I was like, huh, that's kind of a cool idea. I did really enjoy making this and like editing and putting it together. So like, yeah. And I remade it like, I think that day or maybe the next day. Hey, Aziz, what up? $5 patron. Thank you so much, Aziz. Thank you for joining the $3 quantity and then custom upgrading your pledge to $5. You're incredible, Aziz. Thank you so much. Dang. So we're at 28 right now. We've set the record and then some. Like we've like crushed this shit. This is so good. Thank you so much, everybody. If you want to keep bringing them in, please keep bringing them in. We only have one $30 gang person so far in the whole clique. We had multiple people who have now like given like 30 and 33 and $55 as like one-time tips, but like $30 gang people on Patreon. Damage Error just edited their pledge to $8 a month. Thank you so much, Damage Error. From $3 a month, for the record. Went from $9 a month to $8 a month. In your face, Bliss. Okay, so Heptides on, who is in $30 gang? Heptides is a G. That wasn't the letter G. That was like the Weezer logo. I don't know. That's the Weezer logo. That's not it. Heptides said, how is fashion going to change in the future with runways? I don't have like a good answer to that question. The closest thing that I can come to is that we're going to start need to qualify this by saying that I'm like absolutely terrible with predictions. I tend to get, I have such an overactive imagination that like I'm more thinking about like, wouldn't it be cool if like this thing started to happen? But I'm almost never right. So like that. But something that I have noticed is that in the fall winter season, Undercover, Mark Jacobs, and somebody else all did things that were very heavily dependent upon live theater. Mark Jacobs did maybe one of the best shows of the fall winter 2020 season. I imagine that almost no one watched it because not a lot of people are keeping up with Mark Jacobs. He killed it. I don't like, honestly, it doesn't matter if you like Mark Jacobs clothes or not, or even like if you're just like a dude who doesn't care about women's wear, you should watch the Mark Jacobs fall winter 2020 show. It's insane. I've probably watched it all the way through 6 times and it's 20 minutes long. It is so good. You will be so, it's not 20 minutes long, it's like 10 minutes long, but like you will be so glued to your phone or TV or whatever while you're watching it. It is the fastest 10 minutes of your life. Like he keeps you so ferociously engaged. And even I'm obsessed with runway shows, clearly. Like I'm obsessed with runway shows, but all the time when I'm watching runway shows, I'm like, I'm kind of bored. Like this is not, okay. Oh, 3 looks that are the same look in a row. Great, I'm glad we're devoting 2 minutes to this. Like, I get bored when I'm watching runway shows sometimes. But, like, Mark did this just insane, like, I guess they hired a bunch of, like, Broadway dancers or something. Sort of like Issey Miyake. Isay. Like, I have no idea how to say his name. I don't know. But, like, sort of like Miyake where, like, they'll come out like on skateboards, or they'll be like doing like jump kicks and like these like cool like triple sow cow twirls and stuff like when they're out there. But Issey Miyake. Issey. Thank you everyone. Issey Miyake. It's Blissey Miyake. Blissey Miyake. That was really funny. Thank you. But all of the, like for a lot of the Issey Miyake shows, they seem sort of isolated. This was like so chaotic. The Mark Jacobs show was so chaotic that like even the camera editing and like filmers and stuff, you could tell that they were like, what am I supposed to record? Like what part is supposed to be the emphasis? Oh my gosh. Like it's so chaotic that you're just like glued to the thing the entire, it's insane. It's so good. Anyway, everybody go watch that. That and then like the Undercover show, of course, which I imagine all 271 of you did watch, was the one where the guy was like being like attacked by arrows and stuff, and he was like running around the stage and things. Like that, I think would be a really cool way to answer Heptides's question. $30 gang is what is that? That would be a really cool direction for everything to go in. Is the incorporation of like theater into all of this. Because originally runway shows were created for, my like plants are getting twisted up here. Oh shoot, I need to call my plant doctor to come out here. It's upsetting, look at this. I like can't get them apart. They're like growing into each other. I can't get them apart. Can't separate them. They're just like, they're bending each other. And the thing about these is that like these little like sections here are gonna like grow out. These are all gonna be really long at some point and really cool. But it's not gonna work, I bet, if that's happening. I don't actually have a plant doctor. That would be an insane thing to spend money on. But I'm gonna ask some plant people. It would be very cool if they started incorporating more things of live theater into runway shows. One of the coolest uses of this was that Jeffrey B. Small, a long time ago, like 7 years ago or something, got permission from the Beckett Institute. Does anyone know who Samuel Beckett is? The playwright? Okay, technical butt. We're gonna go ahead and, oh, no, we're gonna do it right here. What up, technical butt? Hi. We're going to put you in timeout, my dude. Okay, just fair warning, technical butt. If you like jump back in and keep doing that, then we're gonna just boot you. No more warnings. This is your final warning, your final timeout, and your final warning. So that would be what I would. Oh yeah. So Samuel Beckett. Anybody? Anyway, Samuel Beckett is an absurdist playwright who is dead now. And yeah, Beckett maybe makes the best plays ever. Some of the only theater that I enjoy, don't tell anybody, I really don't enjoy live theater very much. There's very few things that make live theater truly special. One of those things is things like Broadway, or like, what's it called in London? That was my dad, David. Who was that in the background? It's my dad, my actual dad. That was Raf in the background. Did you guys see Raf? He's really busy today, so he can't talk. West End, thank you. Like West End or Broadway, like that kind of stuff is incredibly special because they're able to do things on such a gargantuan level that it is, it's crazy. So yeah, like witnessing that stuff live is just like, what the fuck is happening? This is insane. Oh my gosh. That stuff is great. I've been to some live theater performances that did things like there was no audience seating, and they would at a certain time, like as the sun was setting, you would be guided by an employee of the theater into the woods, and then like they would like stop you. Your guide would like stop you in certain places, and then scenes from the play would happen in different sections of the woods. Which was crazy because you're just like standing there together, huddled in a group, and like these people are in front of you, and like in certain cases they're like screaming at each other and they start like fighting and stuff. Like at one point, like during one of the fights, one of these people like almost ran into me, which was fucking nuts. Yeah, that kind of stuff is really special. There just aren't a lot of things in live theater that are truly, truly special. Samuel Beckett stuff is truly special. That stuff is like, it's crazy. This is working back around to the question, I promise. If you ever have an opportunity to see anything by Samuel Beckett live, you should go see it, especially if it's the vignettes. The collection of short, I think they're called one acts, but they're really not even one act plays. They're incredibly short. This is like the thing, if anyone's seen it, where the pile of trash and the lips with nothing attached to them that are screaming at you, and so the whole thing about Samuel Beckett's stuff is that after he passed, there's the Beckett Institute, which kind of safeguard all of his work. The Beckett Institute is the most notoriously anal estate. I'm sorry, the Beckett Estate is what it's called, the Beckett Estate. The Beckett Estate is one of the most notoriously anal estates of a deceased artist in existence. They will grant permission to do some of his stage play stuff, and then they will show up, very regularly this has happened, they will show up to the play, and if you did not follow all of Beckett's stage directions to a stupidly small minutia detail, they'll sue you. It's insane. they rope you into this agreement where you can only use the play. You can only legally perform the play if they're there, or like if you agree to follow Beckett's instructions to a T. This does not happen in regular theater. In like regular theater with like Shakespeare and stuff, people are like, oh, we're gonna do Shakespeare, but it's gonna be with like greasers from the 1950s. Like there's a bunch of stupid shit in the world of Shakespeare plays, but like Beckett's stuff is just kind of like, no, the man wrote it a certain way. You're performing it exactly that way. We're not doing fun Beckett 1950s greaser thing. We're doing Beckett. And it's necessary too, because Beckett was like so specific with the vision that he wanted to execute that like for those short vignette things, the piece, I don't know what it's called, piece where the lips that are attached to nothing are screaming at you is terrifying. It is terrifying to see in real life. It is it's awful. Like being there and like sitting like kind of close to this thing. The stage that I like sat for it with was a independent theater company. It was like a college theater company. And like we were like seated on the stage and the play was happening on the other half of the stage. And like I remember like consciously thinking like I'm in like the third row here and I feel like I'm too close to whatever this thing I'm looking at is. I feel actively physically afraid. And it's terrifying. And it's because they're so anal about this stuff. So anyway, to bring it back, we're going way back. We're going like 20 minutes back. Jeffrey B. Small, the designer, got permission from the Beckett Institute to do a Beckett play as a runway show. It was very good. The video for that is online. And I keep wanting to ask, I keep trying to muster up the courage to directly ask Jeffrey on, does everyone know that on Style Zeitgeist, there's a Jeffrey B. Small thread? On Style Zeitgeist, the forums, there's a Jeffrey B. Small thread, and Jeffrey communicates with everyone through that thread. He's written like poems that like he put out on the thread and was just kind of like, I like kept getting distracted today, so I like went to my office and wrote a poem. Here's the poem. And like then the poem doesn't get used for anything. One time, years ago, he doesn't do this anymore. One time, years ago, he got on that thread and posted the invitation to one of his upcoming runway shows. This was like in like 2006 or something. Oh, what year was that show? I don't know. You would have to, I would get on the Style Zeitgeist thread and search for Beckett, like the same, look at for this, I think it's Beckett. I don't know. You have to look up how to spell Samuel Beckett. But like I would look for Beckett, search Beckett in the Jeffrey B. Small thread of Style Zeitgeist, and you can probably find what season it is. But like in like 2006, Jeffrey got onto that thread and posted a picture of the runway show invite, and was like, everyone who can read this is invited. Like you just like show up and just show them a screenshot of this in the forum. And like, even if you're reading it and you're not a member, you're welcome to come. Like if anyone is in, I think he was showing in Venice. Maybe he was in Paris that year. I don't know. He was like, yeah, if anyone is in town, you're very welcome to come. And they had like maybe 15 or 16 SZ people show up, which is so cool. It's not like that anymore because I think Style Zeitgeist has gotten a lot bigger. Fashion has gotten a lot bigger. I don't know if you could do that now, but wow, for once in my life, I spelled the last name of someone correctly. Yeah, it is Beckett. Thank you. Yeah, if you've never experienced Samuel Beckett before, it is gonna be a little crazy. I think maybe if you haven't experienced Beckett before, it's gonna be a little boring. Like it's because he had to choose one. The best of Samuel Beckett is when Samuel Beckett can embrace horror a little bit. So he does absurdist stuff, and that era of absurdism is great, and it doesn't get talked about enough in like public education and stuff. But I guess it's kind of, has anyone studied Beckett at all? It's very hard to put into words. Lindsay is obsessed with Beckett, and Lindsay can articulate this stuff a lot better. It feels oftentimes like it is someone who doesn't understand the nuance of normal communication, and gets extremely paranoid talking to other people about normal things. And so that like a big thing that everyone jokes about with Samuel Beckett is that like characters will be looking at each other while they're speaking and say pause, and which is funny now because that's it's like being like gay. It's a thing that middle school boys say because they're worried that other people might think that they are homosexuals. But yeah, they'll say pause to each other because all of the stage direction, not all of them for all the plays, but in a lot of his plays, the stage directions are read aloud by the characters that they apply to. And so someone will be like, pause, smile. And like, we'll have to say smile before smiling. It's, yeah, it's a lot. I would say the best stuff by him is like the speaking lips that are attached to nothing and stuff, or like pile of trash, or most people know him for Waiting for Godot. Anyway, it's impossible for me to talk about this unless I have some kind of visual thing to show you. So we're gonna move on. Geo Martins. I didn't like them. I don't. Rick Owens, Dr. Martens. Hopefully this is a leak of like a digital prototype or something. Are they officially coming out like that? I don't love them. To me, this was like the vision, the Geo Martins. This looks like what Rick Owens designs would look like if they were being made by like Clark's or something, or Doc Martens for that matter. Really? You guys really like them? Yeah, please, somebody post a link in the chat, please, if you can, so that everybody can kind of get on the same page. Yeah, please, yeah. Guys, if you have relevant links that are relevant to the conversation, please never feel like you can't. If someone happens to find that, if someone's on desktop and can find that Jeffrey B. Small show, like, real quick, like, yeah, please, like, hit the link so that other people can save it for later and stuff. No, if anybody's, like, spamming links to, like, irrelevant shit, then if everyone could very vocally report them, that would be great, and then I'll just, like, block them or something, but, oh, what up? Heptides is here. Hey, Heptides. Heptides is $30 gang. So Rick Owens obviously is obsessed with aesthetics, right? And this is like his whole thing. It's like, oh, I bought a bag by Rick Owens and then like I used it like a normal bag. I just put my laptop in it and the bag broke. Like, what the fuck? And it's like, yep, like the shoes and like the useful accessories, things like bags, like if you're buying them with the expectation that you're gonna wear them all the time or use them for what they're supposed to be used for, you're going to be very sorely disappointed, because a lot of his stuff, if he's like talking to the factory and says like, this is the final design, this is what we're making, and the factory's like, hey, look, the way that our machinery works, like to put the rivets on like this, it's gonna make them very, very weak. We need to move them closer to the center of the shoe so that they can have more strength by being closer to like this stitch right here. Like we just need to have a couple of pieces of feedback for you. We just need to adjust them so that they're not popping off. Like every time Rick's answer to that question is, I don't care. We're not changing anything. This is the final design. This is what looks best. So like to me, the Rick Owens, Dr. Martin things, those look like Rick Owens design aesthetic that is a product of compromise, is what those look like to me. Oh, really? Aiden said a good example of that, the grills on the new Kiss heels scrape the ground when you walk. That is so cool. Do they really? They design them so that like you can't not hit the ground with them? Oh my gosh, that would be so fucking cool if that was actually the case. Hey, okay, wait, if anybody has, maybe, I wonder if was anyone on the Instagram live thing where we were talking to Geocasket and he opened his new Kiss, his first pair of Kiss heels for us? Yeah, scraped metal looks fucking sick. Talking about in the Rick Discord. Does anyone have, okay, hey, anybody who's in the Rick Discord or in my Discord or just knows me on Instagram or whatever, can someone send me video footage of what that looks like? What it looks and sounds like? Because that is that's a gorgeous detail. Wow. Dang, I'm gonna have trouble focusing the rest of this live because I'm gonna be thinking about that. Wow, I love that so much. That's insane. The Rick heels are, yeah, they're like $1,000, right? Rick heels, baby. They're $1,800. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. What was I gonna say? Why am I having such a? I'm having trouble focusing because I'm so lost thinking about that. What? Jeez, I've like completely lost my thought. Holy shit. Oh yeah, Kiss Heels are I think it's the number one item that I truly do want. I want Kiss Heels, like really bad. Like that, Kiss Heels would be like a nice, I don't really do like celebratory purchases. I feel like that's a dangerous philosophy for me to get into. I deserve this, I'm gonna buy it. Just because like I'm trying to turn the channel into a business here. And like if I do celebratory purchases all the time, then like somebody was like, oh, what are you buying for yourself now that you have 500 patrons? And this was like a $30 patron person. This was someone who was like, I want to like think that like, he was being really sweet. He was like saying like, I hope you will reward yourself for like the work that you're doing here and like go like cop a coat or something. And I was like, honestly, like I want this to be my job so badly. And like the only way that I'm going to be able to really make this my job is one, for the Patreon amount to get high enough that like I'm making a reasonable amount of money every year. But then two, like the next big thing is that like I need to be living in a place that is fashion oriented. Like I need to be living in like New York or in, I mean, Paris would be fucking sick, but like New York is the current plan. And so like I'm putting myself farther and farther back by like being like, time to wild out and buy some shoes. That was actually why I passed on those Craig Green Commandas, even though I want those so bad. It's just because it's like it's way better for me to get out of credit card debt and to like finish paying off student loans, which I'm so close on. Oh, that's gonna be so sick. To not be in debt to anything, and then to like save up money and to like move to an area that is like good for this. So, but Kiss Heels are like the number one item that I truly am like, I want to own that. That is such a beautiful piece of fashion storytelling. I want to own that while those are still like a cool thing to own. Because inevitably, like everything, even for things that are like, if things are popular enough, and the Kiss Heels are pretty popular, they're gonna be like they're gonna be a little played out. Like in a decade, the Kiss Heels are gonna be a little played out. And so I don't want to wait too long to get them. But like that's the one item that it's taking me forever to make this point. I'm so sorry, guys. Kiss Heels are Rick Owens. Look up Rick Owens Kiss Heels. I don't think they're officially called Kiss Heels because Kiss is a band and I don't think he can call them Kiss Heels. In the same way that Ramones are not actually called Ramones. They're called Rick Owens Sneaker, which is hilarious. But like even the employees and stuff are like, yeah, the Ramones. They are called Kiss Heels? How did he get permission to call them that? That's crazy. Anyway, I really want to own Kiss Heels. I would feel that's one of the only fashion things where I would truly feel kind of intimidated about wearing them in public because they're pretty fucking nuts. Like, and I'm 6'2", so like that would fully make it where it's like I gotta like duck down when I like am walking through doorways and stuff. Jep. Am I saying your name right? Jep, by the way? Jeppe. Jep just looked him up and he was like, those look absolutely crazy. Apparently there's this thing about the metal scraping on the ground and stuff, but like, maybe the coolest element of design is that if you get like the black ones and the heel part is clear, that like, it looks like the heel part is invisible. They really make them like as translucent as possible so that from a distance, if you, I think maybe an Instagram picture or video of Tyrone Dillon is Rick's boyfriend. He's married to Michelle and he has a cute boy toy. He's like this like ripped, and Rick Owens' boyfriend is like the one person that makes me feel weird about my body. Like Tyrone is stupid hot, but like there's one picture or video of Tyrone walking in the Kiss Heels, the black Kiss Heels with the translucent heel from a distance. And if you're like 30 feet away from them, it looks like there is no heel on the shoe. And so they make your legs look like horse legs. It's crazy. Or like, it looks like, you look like a fawn. You look like the way that like fawns look, where it's like, this is a goat that's like standing on its hind legs or whatever. Like it makes your legs look like fawn legs that are broken or something. It's very, it's crazy. Is everyone like just finding out about like Rick Owens' personal life? That's crazy. Yeah. Well, Michelle has boyfriends too. Like, I think they. I don't think any of this is like. I don't think anyone is sore about this. Michelle's boyfriend is a little more normal looking. He just looks like regular, like cute, like 23-year-old French guy. The guy with the mustache, is that Michelle's boyfriend, by the way? Like the remember the picture, like the picture of like Rick and Michelle, and they're like sitting in bed together, and like there's like a guy that's like sitting between them who has like a mustache, like white guy, I think he's French, and he has like just a very, very full mustache, and he's like super skinny. My impression was that that's Michelle's boyfriend. Oh, that's Tommy Cash? Okay, not Michelle's boyfriend. Bliss, that's Tommy Cash. Got it, sorry. They obviously have a close friendship with Tommy Cash. I don't think Tommy Cash is dating either of them. Dang. Okay, sorry guys. I don't know who Tommy Cash is. My bad. I have heard exactly one song by Tommy Cash. I YouTube stream every week. I YouTube stream every Sunday. This is a very regular thing. Okay, so let's take some other questions. I don't think there was anything else that I had to cover on this stream. We didn't look through a book today, just because I didn't want to get my setup over here done. But let's take some other questions. And hey, if anybody else is wanting to join the Patreon and get a shout out, let's go. Let's join up. Oh, the new Yoji is incredible. The new Yoji is insane. That's honestly like, that's the best. The new Yoji collection, Spring Summer 2021, is the best Yoji collection that I've seen in years. There's been, I mean, Yoji's tailoring and stuff is so good, and every very old, very established designers do not have to have absolute slappers every single season. I think that it's not like movies where it's like, oh, the new Coen Brothers film sucked. Like, that's okay. Oh, thank you. Oh, Paige sent me a message on Patreon. Thank you, Paige. It's very sweet of you. If they like changed fashion, and like Yoji, I think it can be not really argued. Yoji changed fashion in a very serious, permanent way. I don't think those designers, because the pressure is insane. You're coming out with a minimum of a collection every 6 months. And sometimes it's just them saying, you know what, I really want to see if I can get the drape for these kinds of things. I want to just see if I can sharpen up the drape for like my coats and my shirting and stuff. I want to just see if we can figure out this stuff. I live in Atlanta, Georgia right now. I live at my mom and dad's house. Which is like, I don't know. Obviously, there's a lot of stigma around like 30-year-olds living at their parents' house. But like, I mean, like my parents' $1 home slaps pretty hard. Plus, I like get along with my mom and dad really well. I like actively enjoy being around my parents. So I don't think of this as a down thing at all. And if you guys want to stigmatize that and shame me, then I guess that's just because you're insecure. But yeah, I don't think designers have to come out with absolute slappers every single season. I think because of the pacing of fashion in general, that I think it's perfectly appropriate for them to have some seasons where they're just kind of like hanging out and just doing the thing and releasing more clothes, and it's fine. This collection was great. The like shoulder blowout thing, the blown out like shoulder, like shirt and jacket together, like insane. It's crazy. Did I tell you guys last week already? People keep talking about this chair. Did I tell you guys how my dad got this chair? So like, my dad used to run a furniture company called Masterworks, where a little bit of it was like vintage things, but like, oh, so my dad bought the house that we're currently in for $1 from the city of Marietta, Georgia. This house was built in 1855, I want to say. The house was built in 1855. My dad bought it from the state for $1 under the condition. This is the thing. The house was dilapidated. It was in awful condition, and it was basically like being used as like trash drop off. Like a lot of people were like being like, I don't do this couch anymore. They would just kind of like drop it in front of or inside of like this house and just be like, okay, cool, this house that no one lives in, I guess we're just leaving it here. He bought it for $1 under the condition that he would fix it and make it an actual house. And so he was like, sounds great to me. Like I really want like an antique, like a really, really old house. And so like they bought the house, the property it's on, they didn't want to keep the property for some reason. And they, so they split the house into 4 pieces. The top floor was split into 2 pieces. The bottom floor was split into 2 pieces. And they loaded the fourths of the house onto a gigantic truck and then moved it down the street and set it up on the property that it is on now. And they also, before like finishing up with everything, there was a publicly owned stone stairwell that led up to the front yard of where this house used to be. So the property that they weren't keeping. And so like while the truck was like moving those things, my dad was like, can we pull that huge stone stairwell out of the ground with this crane, since we have all this equipment here anyway, since we're doing this project anyway, we're done moving the house. Can we pull that stone stairwell? It's like 10 or 11 stairs out of the ground that are like 14 feet long, enormously heavy. It weighs, I mean, like 3 tons or something, like enormously heavy, like Rick Owens dining table type heavy. And he was like, can we also just pull it out of the ground? And they were like, I think the city owns that. And my dad was like, oh, let's take it anyway. I'll give it back if they ask for it. And they did. And that's now the front steps of the house. It's so sick. Like the front, this is on my Instagram. There's a picture of me sitting on a set of stone stairs. And those are the stairs that lead up to the front porch of the house. And it's insane looking. It's like the most gorgeous stairs ever. Like it's insane. Yeah. So, so then they spent like, I think by the time my parents got married and were married for, Dad, if you're watching, can you post a comment as to how long y'all were married before I was born? It was a while. Would you consider purchasing a Rick Stone toilet? No. I think maybe I have to upgrade some other things in my life before I like get on the throne toilet game. Yeah, Kanye for president. Yeah, fucking right. I love Kanye to death. I have spent more time studying the art of Kanye West than any other person, and overwhelmingly, everyone who works for Kanye, who is not in a position like Virgil is or like Haran is or whatever, like those guys are like, I need to maintain a good relationship with Kanye and all this stuff. Like the people who have worked with Kanye on just a like, I'm a video game designer and I'm part of Donda and like I was the one designing the Heaven video game that was going to be like made about like Kanye's mother and stuff. Like those type of people, not like head creative director or anything. All those people say that he is a nightmare to work for. Like being in a position where Kanye is giving you direction in some kind of leadership or whatever, those people say it's a nightmare trying to work for him because he is not a good. The skill set that is built around management is not what he does well. Like he's extremely good at so many other things, unbelievably superhumanly good at many other things. Production, he is insanely good at production. He's so good at production that he changed the standard of production. He like shifted the zeitgeist of like music production multiple times in a 10-year span. Like it superhumanly good at certain things. He is not good at leading teams of people. And so like even if I bet that if we like got right down to it and that like if like he and I were just kind of like, let's just talk about political things, I would wager that me and Kanye probably are on the same page with a lot of political things. I bet if I was like, do you think that like reparations should be like something that is like worked into the American political system in some way, Kanye would be like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, yeah, me too, man. That's pretty cool. I was like, I don't necessarily think it should be like a check for everybody, but maybe like a percentage that, or like tax breaks for like items that are like wealth building things like vehicles or property, and be like, yeah, that sounds cool, Bliss. Yeah, I was just thinking like generally reparations. I usually don't think about things too hard, so like, yeah, that sounds cool. But like, I feel like there's a lot of things that Kanye and I would line up on politically, to where like if we just looked at the issues, but like I haven't even seen the anti-vaccine, anti-abortion stuff. I don't know, but like I feel like there's a lot of stuff politically that Kanye and I would probably line up on, but there's just, I just know that he would be a nightmare working in a public capacity kind of way. Similar to how like I'm gonna do my best to not go off on a tirade here, because I do get very emotionally upset if I start talking about Trump. So I'm going to try to keep this as neutral as possible. Okay, I do not like Trump, just to be totally clear. But yeah, we're going to try to not get too far off onto that. So a lot of the things, because Donald Trump does not have a lot of experience in politics, so he has no experience in politics. A lot of the things that he has just said, like, we're going to implement this thing about immigration. We're going to change this thing about immigration, and it's going to get changed right now. The way that he rolls these things out, these gargantuan changes to the way that things are done for things like immigration, has made it where there are tons of immigration workers, people who are on the front line, like being like, I am a person who is either intaking or rejecting specific people, like individuals' cases for entering the country legally through our immigration system. He's made it where those people and their bosses are like, we don't know. We don't know what we're supposed to be doing. We have received this order that is like, starting like right now, starting as soon as this email hits your inbox, you need to implement this, and this change. And then like, they're like, what do these changes mean? Like, I don't even understand how I'm supposed to implement this. And then like, what ends up happening is that the system ends up freezing up, because Trump and his team do not have the necessary experience in politics to understand how things work. They're used to running things like companies, where you can just say like, this thing is changing, and like, I'm the boss and I fucking said so, so you're doing the thing, and that's appropriate. If you do run the company, you're allowed to do those things. Have at it. It's your company to change all that you want. And to be honest, like I don't even think there's particularly anything wrong with, like, in some cases, people doing things that are unfair in the context of a company, because it's like, it is your company. Like if you are the primary stakeholder and this is truly a decision that you want to make, you're probably going to suffer some consequences if it's something that is not right. But like, I guess you can do it. Like, go for it. So all of his execution of ideas have been under this thing of like, yeah, you just run it like a company. You just tell people to do it, and they have to do it because you're the boss. But in politics, it's just so much more complicated than that. And I feel like Kanye would be in that same thing, where it's just kind of like, even though there are things where it's like, yeah, dude, I agree also that thing should happen, you have implemented this in the most terrible, inefficient, not effective way possible. I don't even understand like what you thought was going to happen. You just sent an email that said like, I don't know, because I don't want to misspeak, because I don't really know. Because surprise, surprise, he hasn't really talked much about policy stuff. Shocker. Anyway, was that a good? Someone just said, "How is Bliss so good at explaining things?" Surely was sarcasm, because I do not feel like that was a very coherent thought just now. Kanye West, creative director of America. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, Nick Knight is great. Honestly, Kanye's relationship with Nick Knight has made it where so much good stuff has happened. Nick Knight is like, what a blessing that man is. Did anyone have the absolute privilege of seeing Jesus is King in theaters? That was a treat. That was so good. And I am not saying, have you seen Jesus is King on your phone or on your TV at home? I'm saying, did you go see Jesus is King in IMAX in a theater with other people? It was wild. It was so good. It was very short. I like stood up and was like, do we want to maybe just like run that back? Or like, because I could watch it again. I got another 20 minutes. I Album, not so great. Kind of underwhelming. I've listened to it maybe twice. It is a bit of a flex that he can just be like, check it out. This is just a gospel album. Blam. Gospel album. That's what I'm putting out. And like still like fairly successful album. That is kind of a little bit of a flex. It's like a only Kanye can do this kind of thing. But like, I believe Jesus is King is Yandhi. Somebody was like, I can't believe it didn't drop Yandhi. I'm pretty sure that like the album was just renamed. Yandhi dropped in the astral realm. Yeah, I mean, his lyrics have gotten progressively worse as we've continued. Am I getting anything from Yeezy Gap? I'm probably not even going to try because the first it's a 10-year plan. Yeezy Gap is a 10-year thing, right? And so like, yeah, please send me a link to Yandhi. There's a leak to Yandhi. Then it's a completely different album. Am I too complex for Complex Con? I love that line. I actually unironically do like that line a lot. Yeah, I'm not keeping up with Kanye nearly as closely as I used to. I mean, I did my senior thesis on the album artwork for Dark Twisted Fantasy, and that was in like my peak, like I need to learn everything about Kanye's life kind of thing. And now I'll read like an article here and there, or like keep up with it, kinda. I'll watch interviews. But yeah, somebody send me the link if it's there. See, like we're now 6 minutes in after the 2-hour point, and I should go edit the new Margiela episode, but it is going to be a monster to edit, and so we're gonna do this a little bit longer. Oh yeah, but Nick Knight has been such a huge blessing in Kanye's life because he's gotten to take on some projects that are. Oh yeah, we were talking about Gap. I'm sorry. So Gap, it's a 10-year plan. The hype side of this is going to die down. That first collection is going to be so hard to get your hands on. Like it's going to be so hard. So yeah, I mean, I'll probably grab a piece or two from that. Like my whole thing is that like I'll probably end up grabbing something from it. Isn't it funny that like the idea here is to democratize this stuff, but there's almost no way that they can make enough of it. Maybe they will. I don't know. It's Gap. I don't know what their strategy is for releasing this stuff. I don't know if it's going to stores. It probably won't go to stores. But like even just like online and stuff. Like I wonder if it'll be like the Guess, like ASAP Rocky. Did Rocky do the Guess stuff? Lil Yachty, I guess. I don't know. I wonder if it'll be like that, where it's just kind of like, no, we made infinity of them. We made infinity of these little stripy shirts that say Guess on them with the little like exclamation marks where your nipples are. Like, are they just gonna make like infinity Yeezy Gap things? Are they ever making Telfar Gap things? Because that would be a really good collaboration. That'd be really nice. Yeah, the Yeezy clothing line is way overhated. That stuff is great. Like I don't understand what people are. Do I watch show studio panels? Yes. Here's the deal. Here's my most honest thing about show studio panels, is that there are often times in show studio panels. I really don't like critiquing things. Well, I don't know. This is as constructive. This is about as constructive as criticism can get. I really like show studio panels. The things that are obviously like undisputable about those things is that they are gorgeous. Like they're beautifully shot, and the people that are there always look fucking incredible. Like it is like the Olympics of fits. It is so good. Like the standard that they have set as far as like how people need to come like representing themselves is great. I think that the panel hosts they often do an incredible job. They get a lot of variety as far as people who host them. Tons of good things to say about this. I would say that it is fairly often the case that people are there who are fashion industry people. And because of the nature of their jobs as fashion industry people, they do not know maybe very much concretely about the show that they are talking about or the designer in general. And so finding 6 people who are going to sit there and talk about this one show for an hour, they struggle with finding people who are going to give meaningful thoughts about this stuff. This is not exclusive to Show Studio. This is a similar problem with tons of podcasts. I mean, of any type or variety, like about any topic, is that like I just often find when I'm watching Show Studio stuff, like my intention of watching those is like, if I'm plugging an hour into this thing, I need to be learning something. I've talked about this a whole bunch. Like your time on YouTube, you should take that very seriously. And things that give you the sensation of feeling like you're learning do not necessarily mean that you're really learning things. And that you should be, I've talked about this in one of the videos recently where it's like the 5-minute rule, where every 5 minutes you should pause a video. If you're watching on YouTube, pause the video every 5 minutes. And if you cannot articulate out loud something specifically that you've learned from that video in the last 5 minutes, you maybe should switch to another video, because there is such a temptation among content creators to just do fluff stuff. I mean, like there's so much. I mean, to be frank, like all of us in the YouTube space, me definitely included, are like, I'm here, if we're being totally frank, for love and affirmation. Like I like attention, and I have found this like venue whereby I can get just lots of yummy attention. And there's a serious temptation for us to just like kind of show up and be cute, and like for us to just sort of like just do things that are going to be memeable and just like kind of just be like fun and entertaining. But like in the fashion space, I feel like a lot of the time people are there because they are like all of y'all, where it's like, I know there's something here. I know that there is something complex. I get the feeling, this like feeling in my bones, that when I look at a Raf Simons collection, I know there's something more to this than just these clothes look cool. But I don't know what that is. And I think maybe this person has the answer. And if we're not giving you that answer, then you should log out and find somebody else. Just all too often when I'm watching Show Studio things, I've gotten gems from them too. Incredible pieces of insight from people. Great, wonderful pieces of insight. But then there's been a lot of things also where I'm like, this person is listening to themselves talk. Like, or this person is spending time not really talking about this collection. They're trying to sort of like humble brag about credentials in their life or something. Like, I mean, this is not really... Oh yeah, you got... I like Brian Boy. I think Brian Boy is cool. Brian Boy's been like instrumental in helping me do what I do, to be totally honest. Brian is my friend. Gap leather condom. Favorite rock bands? What is a rock band? Favorite couturiers of all time? Probably Calisare. Calisare and Rose Breton. Rose Breton, because she's like our great grandmother of like fashion storytelling. She was the couturier for Marie Antoinette, and she was the very beginning. You said nah? Get out of here, Heptades. Rose Breton kind of started this idea of, just to circle back, I wasn't trying to be mean about the rock band thing. I don't listen to rock and roll music really at all. I'm not really sure what a guitar band is supposed to be in 2020. My little brother listens to a shit ton of rock music, and that is cool, and I like hanging out with him and playing video games and stuff, so he can like show me. He mostly listens to like kind of like lo-fi stuff of like something. He showed me a song last night that I really liked that reminded me of like the lo-fi I listened to in college. called like something Wave. The band was called like Phase Wave or something. Some Greta Van Fleet. I don't know anything about contemporary rock music. I know that I'm supposed to hate Greta Van Fleet. Yeah, Phase Days. I don't know. Very like lo-fi, like rock music. Um, the song you showed me that I really loved has a breakdown at the end where he just repeats "I know I'm a letdown" over and over. Anyway, I just don't listen to any rock music. Like the last time I was involved in rock music was when like kind of like the term like indie music was like kind of going through its second phase in like 2000 like 8 through 2013. Um, and I was like listening to like a shit ton of like Vampire Weekend and Arcade Fire when those bands were starting out, and like um, Black Lips. Black Lips is something that I will still go back to. I was listening to Black Lips today. Those guys snapped. Like, that stuff is incredible. The album Arabia Mountain is like, whew. I never realized that the idea of like, because they're Atlanta boys. They're like from, I don't think they're from here. They're from Athens, over in where UGA is. They're from the magic musical land of Athens. I listened to a ton of Montreal. I love Of Montreal. That the Hissing Fauna or You the Destroyer album is like one of the few albums that I'll actually like go back to from my indie years and like listen all the way through it. The XX. I didn't like hard rock stuff. Harder rock stuff was like not really my deal. If I got into like things that were good, that was like guitar music and it was like harder, I would go like all the way in. Like, because when I was a kid, like when I was in like high school and stuff, things like Disturbed and Breaking Benjamin and stuff were like 100% like, this is not the kinds of people who listen to that were so not the kinds of people that I wanted to hang out with, that it was just like, yeah, didn't like that. 100 Gex is great. I love 100 Gex. I guess like harder stuff, I don't know, like Taking Back Sunday and like My Chemical Romance and stuff was stuff that I was fucking obsessed with. Like second wave emo music stuff. Yeah, apparently I'm now like looking back, I'm apparently in the minority because everybody's like, "What? I love Breaking Benjamin." I still can't. It's just so cringy. Like it's just so like, I'm so tough, but I have feelings. Oh, in the diary of Jane. Well, like it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. My whole body cringes up, my penis shrivels and like retreats into my body. It's I can't do the Breaking Benjamin. I can't do it. Can't do Nickelback. Those are in the same genre, by the way. Are we aware of this? Breaking Benjamin and Nickelback are in the same genre. Like it's the same music. Who is it? Who's the guy that used to be in Nirvana that now is in this other band? The bracelet is Margella. It's a hospital bracelet. Sonic Youth. Yeah, Dave Grohl. What's the band called? Foo Fighters. Yeah, Foo Fighters, same genre. Still just kind of like, okay, big old muscly tough guy with some feelings and a beard. Like I can't fuck with it. You guys keep talking about Sonic Youth. I like Sonic Youth. Okay. Opinions on Capitol. Capitol sucks. Other questions? Radiohead, I never was able to like fully get into. I don't know why I never really got into Radiohead. I think it was too. I'm just joking, guys. I'm just joking about the Capitol thing. I was like, oh, I'll freak him out. We'll just say Capitol sucks and move on. No, I love Capitol. That Capitol is the level of Capitol is one of the few brands in the world that are like using humor in a like interesting way in fashion. There's very few brands that do humor in a way like Jacquemus, Vetements, Capitol. kind of like sort of Jeremy Scott, though sometimes Jeremy Scott I think is so overt with the comedy and like silliness that like it's I do not okay, is China stop everything, switch topics. Is Chinatown Market owned by white people? Because I think it is. And if so, don't fuck with that at all. I do not like. I am willing to make compromises and do like conversations about some levels of cultural appropriation where like my for anybody that's on the Discord, like you've seen my video where I'm talking about my like Sakai pants and I'm like, this is maybe a product of cultural appropriation. Like, I don't know if I'm fully comfortable with this. I am obsessed with these pants. And like, it's really hard for me to like say like I'm going to like object to this and like not wear them and I'm gonna get rid of them and stuff. So I'm like willing to have conversations about some of that stuff, but like, has anyone answered this question? Is Chinatown Market? No, I don't need, I think so's. I need, are we positive Chinatown Market is owned by like a white guy or a white woman or whatever? Also, like, are the designs really that cool? I don't, for me, it's like no struggle at all with Chinatown Market because I don't like how it looks. Like, that stuff is like, this is not great. You really are, in my opinion, if you like that aesthetic, go buy the real stuff. Like, I think that like Alessandro Michele and like Virgil Abloh and like all these people who are like, oh, like the whole culture of like producing fakes of things and like making like these fake branded t-shirts for a luxury brand or whatever, like that stuff is kind of interesting. Let's see if we can find a way to incorporate that into our design. I think that all of those people would like strongly encourage you to go and just buy the fake merchandise because like, yeah, it's owned by a white dude. Okay, yeah, I don't fuck with that. I don't like that. Yeah, or just go buy something from Dapper Dan. Just go to Dapper Dan's shop and like get him to make you something. Like, 'cause that shit would be fire. I would love to own an original DD piece. I love Bonobo. Bonobo, so obviously the Black Sands album by Bonobo is outstanding. It's so good. Bonobo shines like a star in his DJ sets. His live, like his like boiler rooms and stuff are like just like this shit slaps so hard. It is, oh my gosh. Live DJ sets, that has been honestly like the biggest blessing of being obsessed with electronic music is like figuring out that it's like, oh my gosh, like my whole life, music has been consumed like this song is great. Go listen to this song. And, you know, you're like, wow, The Diary of Jane. Boy, this sure is rocking my world. Man, I feel tough, but in touch with my feelings at the same time. This is great. Man, I love this one song. But then like the world of like what music can be, like it opened up in such a huge way when I was like, holy shit. Some of these guys are finding ways, and most notably, some of these women are finding ways to recontextualize a song and put it with other songs so that like they're able to like alter things about the songs to make it like work for their specific DJ set. And then like the 3 songs that led into it, like the 10 minutes leading up to this song are like, they were made so that we can do this, the transition into this song. And then like, if I just heard this song like on its own, like just listen to this 6-minute song, it would be like, that was okay, I guess. I'm not really sure what the deal with that was. But then like, if you get a DJ that knows how to contextualize music really well, it's like, what the fuck? This is mind blowing. It just, I don't know. Like my whole outlook on music changed when I discovered DJ sets. Like it truly was like, it's a whole different thing. It's insane. The best examples of that, I would say, are people like, yeah, Aphex Twin has good set. He also has, it's so hard with Richard to tell what his goals are. I don't know. Aphex Twin's live set from Field Day is, he like rips a hole in time and space at the end. And the whole thing is great. It's outstanding. It's great. There's DJs like Bicep and like Daft Punk and like Justice and stuff where they're like, I'm or Skrillex. I love Skrillex so much. And like Skrillex is another one like this where it's just kind of like the purpose of my DJ set is to be like, this is the like climax of what my music is trying to go for. And so they build their sets mostly around their own work. Whereas like people like Aphex Twin are just kind of like, no, if you want to listen to my music, you can listen to the albums. Like the purpose of this DJ set is for me to explore like the possibilities of like what music can be. And so like you won't find a lot of Daft Punk is underrated these days because Daft Punk doesn't exist anymore. I wish they still existed. I was wanting there to be an Alive 2017 so bad, and we're in 2020. I don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah, Alive 2007 is one of the best DJ sets that I've ever heard in my life. Like they snapped. That thing where they switched into the Technologic refix. It's not even like really a remix, but they just like, hey, Kellen Landis just like put $5 into the chat. Thank you, Kellen. You're a G. Kellen, that's like your second tip so far. Thank you so much. Damn. Yeah, but the thing where they switched into Technologic, like the like buy it, use it, break it, blah, 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 and they like switch at a certain point to fuck it, and then they just like loop back the like fuck it sample over and over, and it goes so fucking crazy. Very hard to describe out loud with words, but like Alive 2007 is unbelievable. That's one of there's a few DJ sets that I put on to like get myself ready to like work, and like before this, I was listening to a Dirty Bird camp out set by, I want to say Shigeto, but I don't think it was Shigeto. Hang on. Okay. Looking it up now. Hang tight. This is Cizak. Cizak. Dirty Bird Camp Out East. Cizak. Outstanding set. The Dirty Bird like crew is all those guys are really smart. Hi, just joined. What's going on? What's up, Arena? We're talking about techno music. Bye, girl. But yeah. Let's see, what else? I also listened to Eric Pridz's 2003 Essential Mix, or 2013 Essential Mix a whole lot. Eric Prydz is another one where it's just kind of like, this is expanding what music can be. Thank you, Kellen. These are Tom Ford. They're women's glasses because no glasses are ever going to fit my face anyway, so I just figure I might as well get whatever I want. Because everything, my face is very long, and so like the arms of the frames are always going to be too short on me. And so I just got Tom Ford women's glasses because I really like how they look. I think Grimes is kind of crossover music. Grimes' DJ sets are hilarious. Does anyone know what she did? So she did a Boiler Room set, and she just brought her iPod Classic to the Boiler Room. For those who do not know, Boiler Room is something that almost every major DJ has participated in. The context of Boiler Room is that this is like sort of like setting the standard for what underground dance music is going to be. It's gotten very, very big now. Boiler Room is huge at this point, so it's kind of not in that spirit anymore. But like, you know, they're very liberal with who they include. Death Grips has done a Boiler Room set. Like, but it's meant to be. The idea is that it is meant to be the standard for underground house music. And Grimes went to a Boiler Room set in Ibiza, and which is like the White Island. This is like the cultural center of dance music worldwide, Ibiza. And it's a whole country where 100% of their GDP is just dance music tourism during their like on season of 6 months. So she comes to this like place that is like, this is like the Mecca of dance music. And she, at the time, Boiler Room was this huge, like relatively new like set thing. And it was like, oh my gosh, Grimes is gonna do a Boiler Room set. This is gonna be crazy. She brought an iPod Classic in there, which of course you do not DJ with an iPod or a phone or anything. You have to have decks. So she brought iPod Classic, was like, "Do you have an aux cord?" and they were like, "Technically, I'm sure we have one somewhere. Why do you need an aux cord?" And she was like, "To DJ, I have my iPod." And they were like, "You're the artist, I guess. Here's your aux cord." And she was like, "Thank you." And she like plugged it in and started playing like Mariah Carey and like flipping through and like played like a Beatles song and was like no transition at all. Like just like stop song, next song. And they came over and they unplugged her gear. They plugged her out. They stopped her DJ set. It was too future for them. So they put her DJ set to a close. No, Ibiza is its own. They're a country. They're their own country, I think. I think Ibiza is its own thing. It's its own thing. It's an island. Oh, it's a part of Spain. Hey guys, Ibiza is a part of Spain. Okay, don't spread rumors that it's its own sovereign nation. Okay. Y'all need to learn more about geography. Seriously. Anyway, okay, let's get into the last topic and then let's get the fuck out of here. Because if I don't finish this Margiela episode tonight, I'm gonna be mad at myself. I mean, we can make it a country. I'm thinking of Gibraltar. Was I thinking of Gibraltar? I think I was talking about Ibiza, but maybe. That was not me being like viperish. Sounded a little meaner than it was, I'm sorry. Jake and Amir, I've never even watched Jake and Amir before. It looks great. Looks like a really good format for late night. Misbehave, I know nothing about Misbehave, to be honest. Junjay, we already talked about Junjay. Like, Junjay is incredible. I just need to look at the new show because I haven't seen it at all because I've been like just buried in work. I like bury myself in like things I'm obligated to do, like channel stuff, and which at this point is an obligation. Like there's a lot of people looking for this stuff. Things I am absolutely obligated to do in order for my life to continue, like channel stuff, and then like I just like grind so hard into this second one that I literally just go until I like cannot take it anymore, and I'm just like I just can't. I literally cannot edit any more video. I cannot research this anymore. I cannot review footage anymore. And then I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna break down and go play video games. And then I go play video games for a little bit, and then I pass the fuck out. Which is probably not a very healthy and sustainable way of doing this thing, but I'll try to do that. Anyway. I'm like so locked into everything that like I like literally will like 3 days will go by. I'm playing Sekiro, which is good. Everybody knows at this point that I'm like a huge Dark Souls head, and I love From Software. Like they are my brothers and sisters. I don't know who works at From Software, but I don't play a lot of video games, to be honest. Like, yeah, see, I haven't played Bloodborne. I have not played Bloodborne, but I'm playing Sekiro, and the I don't know. Maybe it's just because I am so married to the way that Dark Souls is done. The system of like acquiring souls and then like losing them, and like the like desperation that you feel trying to get them back before you die again, and the level of difficulty, the balance that's brought to Dark Souls by being like, this game is of brutal, unreasonable difficulty. It is so difficult that it could be argued that it is poorly designed. Like that level of difficulty is great because it's balanced by the fact that it's like, if you're like, you know, a ballsack bitch like Bliss, and you like are just kind of like, I just want help. Who's gonna help me? And I like turn myself into a human in the game, and I'm just like, there's no one here to help me with this boss. I haven't even tried him before, but I want to fight him by myself. And I'm gonna go on Reddit and ask somebody to help me. like you have that option, and you can just like kind of cruise through the game, getting help from other people and getting guided through areas and stuff. The aesthetics are perfect. The aesthetics of Sekiro are flawless. Like the world is beautifully designed. Everything is great. But yeah, and it might be because I'm not deep enough into Sekiro yet to really understand how good it is. I'm stuck on the butterfly queen thing. So like right after for anybody who's played it, right after you fight the like the drunken warrior thing, the guy that's surrounded by normal samurai, and then he's like bigger than everybody else, and he's like chugging some gin or whatever. Right after him, the Madame Butterfly boss fight thing where she's using illusions. Yeah, Jaizu, thank you. Yeah, all names in that game are just like, like not registering with bliss. Anyway, are tabbies a cultural appropriation? That's a good question. I don't. See, that's a good question and a good topic about cultural appropriation that I think needs to kind of continuously be had. Is this idea of like, where are we drawing this line between like, this is me paying homage to this culture, or just not paying homage? At what point is it just kind of like, this is me taking inspiration from something that's not part of my cultural lexicon and just like finding just something that's different, something that like I didn't see as a kid, and then just being like, wow, what a cool idea, like I'll grab that. And I think that like with like tabbies, like that's something where the thing that I can say is like, this is wrong, is for a lot of things in like Native American culture. There's a lot of things where it's like, this is not just like a thing about the way that our people have done things in the past. This is like sacred stuff. Like this is part of our spiritual beliefs and things. And for you to just like grab that and make it a print on a shirt is not okay with any of us. Like this is not, it's stealing. Yeah, thank you. Somebody else just said like, this is just stealing. We do not think about intellectual property the same way that other cultures do. And that like, there's lots of Native American like tribes and individuals and like representatives and stuff who have like talked about this thing where it's like, there are countless, so many that like, I heard one person who like has a doctorate in this stuff like say like, there's so many examples of this in fashion that I have stopped trying to keep track of them because I was kind of like gonna become mentally unwell if I continued to like look into this stuff. But like designers just like look at it and they're just like, it's perfectly legal for me to use this. It's in the free design box, and I'm just gonna grab it and use it. And it's they don't think of things like that. Like these are things where even among like, in the example that I'm giving here, eventually we're gonna get an episode about this. I just need to get my act together on it. It would have to be a guest episode because I would want to bring on this woman who's an expert about cultural appropriation, has written multiple books about it, and like has her own podcast about it, just called All My Relations, which is just a great podcast. There's 2 or 3 episodes specifically about fashion, and they're stellar. They're so good. It helped me understand a lot of the nuance of cultural appropriation that kind of goes beyond the like, someone else did this, that is bad, you are bad. It helps you kind of break out of the most basic understandings of what cultural appropriation are, and kind of understand a little bit more nuance so you can have a discussion about it. But yeah, what she was referencing in one of those things was like, some of the stuff that ends up getting taken is stuff where like she was like, I'm part of this tribe, and like if I wanted to use this thing, that thing is by this other tribe, and I would have to open a dialogue with that tribe if I wanted to use that design for something even within like the context of my tribe. Like I would seek out permission, and there would be like a whole dialogue around that with them so that we weren't stealing from them. Like they just think about things in a very different way, Native Americans specifically, and lots of other people groups think of things in a different way. So I would say that like the idea of like, these are cheap but durable, comfortable shoes that are used by construction workers in like the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s in Japan. I would say that that's maybe, we're at least talking about something different. Whether or not that is cultural appropriation, I'm not really sure offhand. But like, that's definitely different than like, I am using sacred iconography from an oppressed people group as a white European male. very different conversation. And it's still a different conversation, like this idea of like I am a, like in the case of the Sakai shorts, for anybody that's on the Patreon and has seen like my video about the Sakai shorts, I don't know, like how do we think about like a Japanese woman, Abe, designer of Sakai? She like acquired rights to use this print that is a native Hawaiian print for a pair of shorts. I know for a fact that like if I had a brand and I did that, like that would be wrong. Like that would definitely be wrong because I'm part of the people group that like invaded and like murdered and destroyed the culture of the Hawaiian people. So like that would be profoundly wrong for me to use that. But like, does it change the conversation in some way for someone who is also part of a colonized, westernized country, Japan, to take and use iconography from another oppressed, colonized cultural area? That seems to be even be a different and more probably more nuanced conversation around cultural appropriation. There was a great article that somebody posted about this in the Discord. It was a major publication. It was like New York Times or something. But it was they were like talking about. Does anyone remember this? If someone can find the link to this and post it, that would be really helpful. This is like the best piece of writing that I've ever read about cultural appropriation ever. It was there's an example that they use in it at one point of like there's a movement in Japan where they're copying like where they're like copying like cholo culture stuff, where like there are like these like Japanese women who, or maybe it was Korea, where they're like doing like the cholo girl look, and it was like, so they were going in so hard on the look that like if it was a white person, it would be like, that is wrong. Like you need to stop immediately. Like undisputably wrong if it was a white person doing it. But they were like, there was like an interview of some kind that they did with like some of these women. Oh, Japan cholos, yeah. So like where like they were like talking about like all of these like things that are expected of me as a Japanese woman is that I'm like being like demure, and that I'm like being like cute and like kind of like very like chaste looking, and that I behave in a very chaste way all the time and stuff. And like this, they were like, I relate so hard and I feel very empowered by like the women in like Mexico and like LA and stuff who are like choosing to be like this is who I am, and they're very brash, and they're like able to be like, they're able to express themselves in such an obvious like clear, unafraid kind of way. And they were like, that feels empowering to me. That's my energy. That's how I feel, and like I want to represent that, and I want to imitate it. And so now here I am with like my hair done like this, and like the author of the article was like asking, they're like, is this cultural appropriation? Like off rip, like looking at it kind of makes me uncomfortable to look at, but like, is this wrong? Does this continue the cultural dialogue of like, oh wow, like this culture hit on something in such a clear, clean, good way that like it was inspiring to someone else across the globe who was like, I want that in my life. They made it really clear in the article that they were like, obviously just like white people just like taking shit from like other cultures and like just like using it and then profiting off of it. Like that's obviously yeah, I was tweeting about, if anyone has the link to that, if anyone remembers what that article was, I have it saved somewhere on one of my devices, but if anyone could like pop that link in there, that'd be really helpful. Diet Prada. Here's the deal. This will be our last thing. I think this will be our last thing. Here's my deal. Diet Prada has done a brilliant job in the world of content creation. They have done a brilliant job of creating a format for an Instagram account that is obviously massively successful, but like there's kind of an artfulness to setting up like I mean, on this channel, it's like we do runway show analysis stuff, and like that as a format has ended up being very successful. I'm super proud of coming up with that format. And like the way that like I've broken things down, the format that I've introduced and stuff, like I feel very proud of the way that I've kind of set myself up on this thing. So like with all content stuff, webs like blogs or like for Twitter accounts or for where you're kind of creating, there's an artfulness to creating the way that the thing is going to function and kind of what it's for and stuff. And a lot of times it's really difficult to describe. Diet Prada's very easy to describe. We call out fakes and copies in designer clothing. Not fakes, but like copies and theft in designer clothing. That's a brilliant format, undisputably brilliant format. My thing is that I don't want to have a lot of things in my life that are built to make me upset. I feel like it is entirely possible for us to like love justice, do mercy, protect people who are vulnerable, protest things that are wrong. I think that we can like stand up for people who are being abused and stuff without like gearing our social media feeds to just constantly be delivering negative information. I don't want that at all personally in my life. That's kind of why I think I follow Diet Prada, but my feed is so fucked because I follow so many people that it's like if I do follow them, I don't see anything from them. I've used Diet Prada before as a reference for things in videos before. So like, you know, if I'm gonna like point out something that is like a super specific part of a show, like in the Balenciaga episode that I did, all of those facts were coming, all of the information in that video was coming from you all. Like people just sent in information that they knew about the different runway shows and stuff. And for that purpose, it was, geez, I'm like losing my thoughts here. And somebody pointed out that one of the shoes from that show was copied from like a younger English designer. So like stuff like that, sure. Like I've included it before. Like I've used their stuff as a resource reference for things. But and in so many posts, this is a very common criticism of Diet Prada. So many things that they've done where it's just kind of like, those are just 2 yellow dresses, guys. Like this is not a copy of the other thing. That's a type and style of dress that was not created by that other designer 2 seasons ago. That type and style of dress has existed since like the 19 teens. And like for you guys to assert that this is like some kind of like copy that they were like, because the context, right, is always that it's like this person like saw this other thing and they were like, I'm gonna do it too, and I'm gonna just take it from them, and then no one will know, and I'm gonna make all this money. It's gonna be great. And it's like, that's clearly not what's happening here. That is, first of all, like, I don't know. I roll my eyes very hard at a lot of this stuff that is claiming to be copies of other things. Oftentimes they're not. They look like copies, I guess, if you look at them for like a half a second and then go like, wow, that's shitty, and you like keep scrolling. But then if you like open the images up and you look at them, it's like, okay, those things are made of 2 completely different materials. The cuts of those things maybe look similar if you don't know anything about dresses, but they're not even the same type of dress really. And like the shade of yellow is just very similar. That's really what, and because I mean, the nature of Instagram is that you're sitting there and you're passively doing things. You're not really like locked in and like looking at stuff. You're like, you know, you're looking at things for fun. And so like, I like Jacquemus. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, I like Jacquemus a lot. Somebody just asked that. Yeah, it's just very, someone just said this. Yeah, it's just very surface level. And I just don't care. And then also like things like, because I mean, like ultimately, like Diet Prada. Here's another. You want some insider baseball here? Okay, so as content creators, the number one thing that we are most tempted to do is to only feed you negative information. if we, on all things, if we can find a way to be negative or be shitty about something, or to like have a bad attitude about something, or to make some kind of snide comment, literally 100% of the time, that will end up getting more clicks or more likes or whatever than the just like positive version of whatever we're saying. Like anything that you can imagine, if you can spin it to just be like sarcastic or kind of glib, or to insult somebody, or to like make fun of something, it will always result in more traffic 100% of the time. To be honest, guys, like I don't know, this is probably not a great thing for me to share with you. To be honest, that's why I named that last video that I put out, "Does Eddie Slimane Suck?" It's because I was like, we're gonna see if this is true, because I've had this as a theory for a long time, and it's definitely true on Twitter, and it's definitely true on Instagram, but I was just like kind of testing the waters to see. And to be honest, guys, like, I don't know, everyone is much more likely to engage with your stuff if you're negative, and I just don't want to be negative. Like, I do not like that. Yeah, I did it with the Eddie video. Qualified it a little bit in the thumbnail, saying like he doesn't, it's complicated. But yeah, just I mean, I think it's just important for you to understand that like everybody who makes content, I don't know, that we're all tempted to be as negative as possible, because that's always going to result in more anything. So I just don't like filling up my feed with stuff where like people are like, every time I open Twitter, are like shaking me and like being like, you should be so mad about this thing. Now there's lots of, I mean, obviously there's tons of things that happen in the world where it's like, this does deserve like righteous anger, and you should be upset about this, and you do need to demand that the people who are doing it stop. But like, I just don't think that stuff like that is happening 3 times every single day. And I don't, I'm just not interested in like hearing some assertion that like, I mean, I'm making this up, but like some assertion that like Valentino is like, they're copying and they're trying to get away with it. Are you going to stop them or not? Like this, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of Diet Prada. Traumatic titties. Yeah, and I mean like that. Yeah, like, and like Luke at Haute La Mode, like Luke is an incredibly smart person. Luke does like this like fashion space analysis stuff, like maybe a articles. Why? Okay, someone sent me an article. Okay, Luke is incredibly smart, and yeah, and like Luke's channel is way more successful than mine, and like, but yeah, I mean like he's kind of like geared the character, because like all of us are kind of, even if like it's very much based on like how we are like in real life or whatever, like we're all being characters here like a little bit to some degree. And like Luke has kind of geared his character around, yeah, this idea of like roasting things and being kind of bitchy with people and like all this stuff. And like that's, again, it's brilliant. Like the thing that Luke has set himself up for, the format for his YouTube channel is outstanding. It is airtight. It is so good. And like, I mean, again, like I have literally nothing but respect for the way that Luke like delivers information. The amount of like informational value that you get from watching Haute La Mode videos is so high. It is so high. Like Luke is able to keep you constantly entertained. He is like, I mean, stand-up comic levels of like keeping you like constantly engaged in what he's saying. He's like so fast. Nothing is ever dragging. The editing is super tight. Everything is great. But yeah, I mean like he's definitely an example of this same thing where it's just kind of like, sorry, it's my job. Like running this channel is my job. I know that people are gonna rush over here if I like put something kind of bitchy in the thumbnail and something kind of bitchy in the title. Like everyone's gonna click on it. Everyone wants to be mad. Everyone wants to be like as like engaged with like, because anger like feels great, right? Like if you're like steamingly angry about something and you're getting to like express that anger and like I mean, if we're being honest, like some of the most like unflattering parts of life are when you're just like screamingly angry, right? And it's like some of like the like lowest, saddest parts of like human existence. But from the perspective of someone who is extremely worked up, screaming feels incredible. And then also like looking back at it, it's like, oh wow, I really wish I hadn't done that. So I don't know. I just don't like, I do not like engaging with the side of myself that is just mad about stuff all the time. So yeah, don't like it. What just vibrated up there? There is no vibrating devices up there. That was kind of upsetting. I'm not sure what that was. Okay, I guess I've put this off long enough. I should probably go edit. Guys, this was an insanely successful live stream. Like the tip amounts were incredible. You crushed it. Damn. Okay, so we got $114 from the tipping thing, and this shows 28 patrons. 28 patrons. Thank you so much. This means so much. We got a new member of the $30 gang. Got a couple members of the $9 gang. Tons of new people who get to be awesome new members of the community. Hey, if you signed up for the Patreon, get on the Discord. Really get on the Discord. There's a ton of people who are on the Patreon but that aren't on the Discord. It is at least worth lurking there occasionally. I strongly encourage you to participate. Post some fits, talk about clothes, ask some questions, ask super specific questions. And then if nobody's there live at the time to answer them, like loop them around and ask them again. Like great questions, great group of people that are very welcoming. The Discord is wonderful. Please take the time to do it. Either way, the support means an enormous amount, guys. Thank you. We're ahead. We were a little bit behind on the goal for this month, and we're ahead now. So yeah, this means a lot. Thank you so much. Cool. Links is it's just patreon.com/blissfoster. Patreon.com/blissfoster, and starts at $3 a month. Super good. Yeah, if you like content, if you really love content, it's independent. I don't work for GQ or Vogue or anything, like trying to do this shit all on my own. So yeah, $3 a month. Skip on one Starbucks drink and give me $3. Give me that $3 a month, motherfucker. Anyway, oh wow, cool. Okay, so we got one more. John Gorski, thank you so much. We'll mark it down, John. We will mark it down. Where's my pen? Where'd my pen go? Oh my gosh, who took my pen? I love that pen, guys. You have to give it back to me. Guys, my mom's gonna be so mad if I don't have that pen still. Did I actually leave this pen? What's going on? Oh my gosh. What am I gonna do? John joined the Patreon and I can't mark it down. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's upsetting. I actually do really love that pen. Okay. It's my pen now. It said Robosonic876. Wow, Robosonic876 has been in here for 3 hours. Dang. Appreciate you guys. Have an excellent evening. Love you so much.